Chapter 652. Su-yun's body fell rapidly. Even though his body was stronger than ordinary people, he was still falling from a height of 10 stories. Even if he didn't die, it was hard to say that he wouldn't be seriously injured. Fortunately, there was a car parked downstairs, and Su-yun just happened to land on the roof of the car. The roof of a car more or less had a cushioning effect, and it was much better than the concrete floor. With a clang, Su-yun's body smashed a hole in the roof of the car, and the car's alarm system quickly went off. Su-yun's entire back was racked with intense pain. Fortunately, the pain came from his muscles, and didn't hurt his bones or internal organs. The sound of the car's alarm was particularly ear-piercing, but there was a construction site next to him, and the noise of construction quickly drowned out the sound of the alarm. Su-yun propped himself up on the roof of the car with both hands, and used his breathing to adjust himself as quickly as possible, calming himself down as soon as possible. At this point, he had to find a way to get back upstairs. Even though his back was in pain from the fall, Su-yun's first thought was that he couldn't let Huang Xiong out of his sight. But before Su-yun could even come up with a solution, Mad Dog's body fell to the ground with a scream. The dull sound of his head hitting the ground was so unpleasant to the ear, and brain matter and blood splattered all over the ground. Mad Dog died in front of Su-yun's eyes wide open. Su-yun raised his head. Huang Xiong was standing on the roof of the 6th floor, smiling at him. When Su-yun looked at him, he made a throat-slitting gesture, showing off his victory. "You want to catch me? You're still a little too inexperienced. I'm not Yi Fala. I won't fall for a man." Huang Xiong looked down from above and sneered. "If you have the time to catch me, why don't you go back to the market and help the police collect the corpses? Maybe the police station will even give you an excellent citizen certificate." The pain in Su-yun's back made his anger disappear. "Huang Xiong, unless you escape from this earth. Otherwise, I will capture you myself. Many police officers have said this to me before. They are all outstanding talents in the country, but now they are no longer in this world, but I am still living freely." Huang Xiong said, "You are the first person other than the police to say this to me. I know you're better than those policemen. However, I still want to give you a piece of advice. Don't meddle in other people's business. Arresting me is the job of the police. Why do you have to find trouble with this? Ha ha ha, think it through, idiot." Su-yun did not waste his breath on Huang Xiong. He really did need to go back to the market to see Qin Wan and the others. It was impossible to catch Huang Xiong today. Huang Xiong had already disappeared from his sight. Damn it! Su-yun smashed his fist heavily on the car that was still calling the police. When Su-yun returned to the market, the gunfight had already ended. With the help of Wu Yuandong, Huang Xiong's men were all killed and captured. The police also suffered heavy casualties. In addition to one person who was killed by Huang Xiong's men at the beginning, another person was shot in the forehead. There were also 3 people who were hit by bullets. They were all carried to the ambulance. The police had sent more people to control the scene. Qin Wan-er's mood was very low. When she saw Su-yun come back again, she could only throw herself into the arms of the only person who could give her a sense of security and vent the pain in her heart at that moment. Because Su-yun and Wu Yuandong had played a crucial role in this incident, Qin Wan-er and the other policemen at the scene no longer doubted their actions. They had the same goal as the police. Qin Wan-er knew Su-yun better. Su-yun did not want the police to get involved. He wanted to solve the problem by himself because he was afraid of such casualties. However, Qin Wan-er's stubbornness led to the things that should not have happened. "Su-yun, why am I always like this? Why can't I do anything right?" Qin Wan-er's cheeks were full of tears. "I really didn't want things to turn out like this. But why did things turn out like this? It's all because of me. Everything is because of my stubbornness. I should have listened to you at that time. I should have taken my men away. Then no one would have died." Su-yun held Qin Wan-er's shoulders tightly. "You didn't do anything wrong. You have your identity. You are a police officer. From your standpoint, you did nothing wrong. If I had told you all this before, maybe today's things would not have happened. If you want to blame someone, blame me. This has nothing to do with you. How could Chin Won-er listen to her? She knew that Su Yun was comforting her, but her self-blame was too deep. She couldn't help but blame herself. She couldn't help but feel sad for her colleagues who had died in the line of duty. Originally, she wanted to seek an explanation for the 12 families who had lost their families. Now, there were 2 more families who would be sad for the rest of their lives because of this matter. As a police officer who put the interests of the people first, Chin Won-er could not accept this result. She wished that she had to bear all these unlucky things. She did not want others to bear them. Su Yun and Wu Yuandong went back to the police station with Chin Won-er. After they gave their statements, the police did not make things difficult for them. Originally, Su Yun and Wu Yuandong thought that Chin Won-er had helped them out. They did not expect that the other police officers who were present were also involved in this. All of them believed that Su Yun and Wu Yuandong were righteous. They were definitely not evil. To be able to get this kind of support was a great recognition for Su Yun and Wu Yuandong. At least, everything they did was not denied. Huang Xiong is a very vengeful person. We killed 4 of his men and successfully arrested the other 3. He must hate us to the core now. It was not the first time that an old police officer from the Shenzhong police station had dealt with Huang Xiong. He kindly reminded everyone, he will definitely not go far. He will definitely take revenge. Although this did not sound like good news, Su Yun had to admit that this was indeed good news for him, Wu Yuandong, and the Shenzhong police station. At least they did not need to wait for 3 years or even longer to catch Huang Xiong. As long as he appears in front of me again, I will definitely tear him into pieces. For the first time, Chin Won-er felt what it was like to hate someone to the core. Huang Xiong made her understand how strong the feeling of hatred was. Su Yun patted Chin Won-er's shoulder. If Huang Xiong appears again, I hope that you can hide as far away as possible. Since he is so vengeful, you cannot participate in this matter. He will not hesitate to hurt anyone who participates in this matter. If possible, I hope that all the police officers involved in this matter can leave Shenzhong for a while under protection. Chin Won-er and the others shook their heads firmly. None of us will leave. We are the police. Why should we be afraid of a criminal? Su Yun knew that it was useless to say more, but he would never let Chin Won-er leave his sight. The revenge might come soon. He would never allow Huang Xiong to hurt Chin Won-er. The police station did not detain Su Yun and Wu Yuandong. Their sacrifice for this matter made all the police officers very grateful and moved. Chin Won-er finally did not work overtime in the police station. Instead, she returned to Xinkai Hotel with Su Yun and Wu Yuandong. Ruan Qingshuang saw that Chin Won-er was haggard at a glance. She felt sorry for her and made bird's nest porridge for her. Guagua was very well behaved and kept making Chin Won happy. Even a little girl like her could see that something big must have happened. However, Su Yun and Chin Won-er did not mention anything about this matter. Guagua was not familiar with Wu Yuandong, so it was not convenient for her to ask him. She could only strongly control her curiosity. At this stage, Su Yun could also see that Wu Yuandong was depressed about this matter. Chin Won-er was taken care of by Ruan Qingshuang, so he could rest assured. He took Wu Yuandong to the bar in the hotel to have a drink, so that Wu Yuandong could relax. When Wu Yuandong drank the whole bottle of whiskey like mineral water, Su Yun understood that he was unhappy and depressed at this moment. Brother Dong, don't think of it as so simple. This is definitely not because of you. Even if you could have followed Ji Feng back then, Huang Xiong could have found a second person to cooperate with him to snatch the jewelry store. Su Yun, Huang Xiong's mistake is definitely not because of you. He is a person who does all kinds of evil. Wu Yuandong's smile was very helpless. I have been trying to convince myself like this, but I can't do it. If it wasn't for Ji Feng's ambition, today's matter wouldn't have happened. I shouldn't have been too gay back then. I shouldn't have been so kind to Ji Feng. I should have found a chance to get rid of him back then. Ji Feng is not that easy to deal with. You know it very well. Su Yun, if you had taken the risk back then, you might not have had the chance now. Since it has already happened, there's nothing we can do about it. We can only find a way to make up for this mistake. Brother Dong, I promise you that after I solve Huang Xiong's problem, I will help you solve the threat of Ji Feng to the Three Lotus Association. Brother, thank you. Wu Yuandong raised the bottle of wine. Let me drink first. Seeing Wu Yuandong gulp down the wine, Su Yun did not stop him. The numbing effect of alcohol on a super expert was not as strong as it was on an ordinary person. Since he had brought Wu Yuandong here to drink to relax, then he should let him drink to his heart's content. Su Yun accompanied Wu Yuandong as he picked up the bottle of wine. He did not use a cup and directly gulped down the wine. Drinking like this was still the best. Wu Yuandong told Su Yun a lot of things in his heart. He told him a lot of stories about the Three Lotus Association and drank a lot of wine. 2 hours later, all his troubles seemed to have been washed away by the wine. After sleeping like this, he might be able to relax a lot when he woke up the next day. Su Yun's bad mood was also swept away by the wine. Previously, his mind was filled with the image of Huang Xiong cutting his throat. After taking a bath, this image completely disappeared. He should not think about unhappy things. Thinking too much would only make him upset. However, Su Yun swore that he would not let Huang Xiong escape from his hands a second time. As long as he dared to come again, he would definitely make him die an embarrassing death. Chapter 653. Seeing Su Yun come in, Qin Weiner smiled faintly and said nothing. She went to the table and poured a cup of freshly brewed black coffee for Su Yun. The rich smell of the black coffee quickly filled the whole room. Qin Weiner handed the coffee to Su Yun and said, "Sit anywhere you like. I don't know your taste, so I didn't put any sugar. If you don't like bitter coffee, the sugar is on the table. Add it yourself." Su Yun put the cup of rich coffee aside. "You are drinking this. It seems that you don't want to sleep, right? I really can't sleep, so I made some." Qin Weiner didn't put any sugar, but she enjoyed the tempting smell of the bitter coffee. She was like a smoker who could find the mellow smell in the choking and pungent smoke. Su Yun knew that Qin Weiner must feel uncomfortable because she couldn't sleep and had to drink coffee. "Don't think so much. Since it has happened, there is no way to go back in time. I hope you can really understand that this is not your fault. Huang Xiong is the one who should be punished. If you don't take care of your body now, you may not even have the chance to take revenge when the real murderer suddenly comes. The real murderer will escape again." Qin Wan finally put down the coffee cup in her hand. "Do you really think that you can't blame me for this? But I have said this 100 times in my heart, but I still can't believe that I can escape from this situation. How can I escape? Why didn't I get the punishment for my mistake? Why did other people have to bear it? No one has to bear any punishment. It is the police's duty to solve cases. It is inevitable that there will be accidents." Su Yun said, "Back at the police station, didn't the chief say that it was an accident? The police station will treat it as a work-related injury and reward them for their merits. They will be given sufficient funeral expenses and their widows will be taken care of. There's really no need for you to blame yourself. They died in the line of duty. It's definitely not because of you. This has nothing to do with you. You don't owe anyone anything. I know everything, but I just can't let it go." Qin Wan shook her head helplessly. "I have thought about what you said, and I know it makes sense. But I just can't let it go." Su Yun could only give Qin Wan a hug to calm her down. That was what Qin Wan needed right now. She needed someone to pour out her heart and vent her emotions. And this person had to be someone she could trust, someone with broad shoulders that she could lean on. Aside from Qin Wan-er's father, there was only one other person like that, Su Yun. "I promise you, I won't let Huang Xiong off," Su Yun said, "but you have to promise me that you'll adjust yourself as soon as possible and recover your energy. There were casualties in this conflict, but the people around Huang Xiong were completely wiped out. I believe that Huang Xiong wouldn't only have these few people by his side. He might take revenge at any time. You must take good care of yourself." Qin Wan nodded. I will be careful. You have to be careful too. You were the one who chased after Huang Xiong today, so he should have a deep impression of you. Therefore, it is very likely that he will hurt you. I'm usually in the police station, so I should be safer than you. At least, Huang Xiong wouldn't dare to mess around in the police station. Su Yun shook his head. Don't underestimate Huang Xiong's revenge mentality. Do you know what the people in the underground world call him? What? Qin Wan was shocked. Butcher, Su Yun said bluntly. The number of policemen who died in his hands is not a small number. We've wanted him for so many years, but we haven't been able to catch him. Obviously, he's more cunning than we thought. Maybe he can really sneak into the police station to take revenge. Qin Wan smiled faintly. Don't be an alarmist. I'm worried about you the most. If Huang Xiong isn't stupid, he won't casually come looking for trouble with me. Su Yun said, everyone in the underground world knows that he's ruthless. If it wasn't for the fact that he didn't know my details and strength, he would have killed me. How could he have let me go? Today he caused me to fall 10 floors. He had a chance to kill me, but he was very careful and didn't do it. Obviously, Huang Xiong is more cowardly than we thought. Maybe the reason why he could live freely until today is all because of his cowardice and cautiousness. Qin Wan frowned. Because he's cowardly, he didn't dare to act rashly? Su Yun nodded. He knows very well that Qin Yiqian's death must have something to do with me and Wu Yuandong. No matter how bad Qin Yiqian is, he's still a member of the Three Lotus Gang. He dared to touch the Scarlet Gold Hall's hall master, Ji Feng, because he knew what Ji Feng was thinking. He just wanted to extort some money and weapons from him. He didn't dare to kill his people. Now that he thinks Qin Yiqian is dead, I even touched the Three Lotus Gang's people. Even if he doesn't care about me, the Three Lotus Gang won't let me go. Then, is Qin Yiqian your? Qin Wan was still very confused. Didn't the police retrieve his body from the lower reaches of the Shen River? Didn't the autopsy say that he lost his mind because he took too many drugs and fell into the river? Su Yun said. Also, he really did have a lot of heroin on him, didn't he? Qin Wan smiled. It seems that this matter really has something to do with you. No one said that he had heroin on him. How did you know? That's right. No one in the police told me that he had heroin on him. But I'm telling you, I know. So, I did meet him before he fell into the river. Su Yun also smiled. For a guy who helped Ji Feng plan and execute the jewelry and gold robbery and killed 12 people, the death penalty isn't too much. It's just that you didn't execute it. I'm saying this because I hope you can understand Wu Yuandong. He also blames himself. He blames himself for not persuading Ji Feng back then. He hopes that he can take care of everything himself. Qin Wan frowned. But he really doesn't have the right. Although I understand him, I still hope that he won't be involved in this matter in the future. Su Yun shook his head. That's impossible. Brother Dong not only has to be involved in this matter, but he can also do many things that you can't do. Qin Wan you have to know that the real culprit is Ji Feng. He's too gay, and he's the most popular person beside the president of the Three Lotus Society. You can't touch him. I can't touch him, but we can contact the police and ask for their help. Qin Wan was very serious when she said this, but it didn't mean that she was naive. Because she hadn't been to the gay area, she didn't know that some things in society were different. Su Yun signaled Qin Wan to calm down. I know that your idea is good, but it won't work. You expect the police to catch the number one person in front of the president of the Three Lotus Society? How is that possible? Haha, you have to know that the president of the Three Lotus Society is someone that even the government and those arrogant senators don't dare to touch. Do you expect the police to help you? Why? Qin Wan said, the police's duty is to catch bad guys. Since Ji Feng is a suspect, it doesn't matter if he's the president of the Three Lotus Society or not. Even if he's the president of the Three Lotus Society, we still have to catch him. That's the problem. The police don't dare to do this. The police in our mainland can't do it. Su Yun. So this matter can only be handed over to Wu Yuandong. He's the one who should end all of this. He's been hiding for 3 years for the jewelry and gold robbery 3 years ago, just to wait for Huang Xiong, the real middleman, to appear again. Although he doesn't have the right to do this, he's not doing this to harm anyone. He's helping the police. Why can't he do it? Qin Wan was silent. After a while, she nodded. I promise you that I will help you and cooperate with you. I know what I should say and what I shouldn't say. Our cooperation will be flawless. Su Yun smiled. Now you can sleep peacefully. This matter will be solved. I'm right, right? Yes, if only I understood it earlier. Qin Wan smiled bitterly. Today's incident wouldn't have happened. Su Yun drank the whole cup of rich black coffee. If it wasn't for today's incident, you wouldn't have understood everything I told you. Some things are destined, and we don't have the ability to change them. It's good that you understand now. Good night. Good night. Qin Wan's smile was much more relaxed than before. It was good that she could put down the burden in her heart. Su Yun got up and left Qin Wan's room. He really hoped that Qin Wan could let go of everything. After returning to his room, Su Yun stood by the bed and looked at the neon lights on the streets of Shenzhen. He didn't know if Lin Gu had found Gu Zueran. After going through so much, Su Yun understood one thing. Even if it was destined, there would be variables. No matter how sure he was that he could catch Huang Xiong, he still made a mistake. No matter how much Wu Yuandong wanted to protect the police, there were still 2 people who lost their lives. It wasn't that they didn't try their best, but they couldn't predict what kind of situation Gu Zueran would take things to. And the things that Gu Zueran miscalculated back then were also things that he couldn't predict. Yinlong's sacrifice in the mission was not destined by his fate, but a decision and change he made at the last moment for all the members of the Dragon's Fury Special Combat Team and himself. He changed his own fate, using his own life in exchange for the final change of everyone's fate. Gu Zueran wasn't wrong. The one who was wrong was Su Yun. Su Yun sighed deeply. He really hoped that Gu Zueran would give him a chance. Lin Gu went to find Gu Zueran. Gu Zueran must know the reason. As long as he didn't want to see Su Yun again, Lin Gu definitely wouldn't be able to find him. At this moment, Lin Gu was also very helpless. He had gone to all the places he needed to go. It seemed that Gu Zueran had left Shenzhen. Otherwise, with his sincerity, Gu Zueran would have been able to sense it. If Gu Zueran had really left Shenzhen, then it would be troublesome. Chapter 654. All the troubles seemed to disappear with the arrival of the new year. Everything was so beautiful. In the first 3 days of the New Year's Eve, everyone was busy preparing for the new year. They were buying New Year's goods and new clothes. Guagua and Bu Fifan lived in surprise almost every day because they were loved by so many people. They were dazzled by all kinds of New Year's gifts. However, with the arrival of New Year's Eve, those who had families had to reunite with their families. Chong and the 3 tigers of Nanqing said goodbye one after another. It was not that they did not want to stay and spend the new year with Su Yun and the others, but that was the tradition of Hua Xia for thousands of years. Reuniting with family was the only way to celebrate the new year. Even a rebellious guy like Dan Jiahao knew very well that he should be with his parents on this day. Qin Wan did not stay either. Originally, she wanted her parents to come to Shenzhen to spend the New Year's Eve with her family here, but her parents did not agree. The long-term work in a different place made the 3 of them spend very little time together, and the time they spent together in their hometown was even less. They had to go back to their hometown together on the most important traditional festival of Hua Xia, because their relatives were there. When everyone who was supposed to be with their families left, Guagua, who had been excited for many days, finally calmed down a lot. She understood everyone who left. If she also had family, she would also want to spend the New Year's Eve with them. However, everything was not the same as before, but Guagua also knew very well that she was not without family. Su Yun, Ruan Qingshuang, Chou Yun, Bu Fifan. They were her family now. Su Yun originally expected Zhou Meiyan and Zhua Yeming to come to Shenzhen to spend the New Year's Eve with them, but they did not come. They chose a more relaxing New Year's Eve to return to their hometown and offer a toast to the graves of all their family members who had died in the disaster. They told their family members that although many years had passed and their lives had changed dramatically, they definitely did not forget all their family members. Everyone who stayed told themselves not to point out the deepest pain in everyone's heart. The feeling of not having a family was definitely a kind of sadness that people who lived in happy families could not understand. Therefore, no one wanted to break the pain that everyone buried deep in their hearts and didn't want to show. But in the end, on the afternoon of New Year's Eve, Guagua asked Ruan Qingxuang a question that no one dared to ask. "Mother, have you really never thought of going home to take a look?" Among the few of them, the only one who had a family to reunite with was Ruan Qingxuang. However, Ruan Qingxuang hadn't been home for a long time. She didn't know what it was like to have a reunion with her family on New Year's Eve. It wasn't that she didn't want to, but she didn't dare to. Today, Guagua suddenly revealed the longing that had been buried deep in her heart. Ruan Qingxuang was silent for a long time. Then she said honestly to Guagua, "Yes." "Then have you ever thought of going back to take a look?" After all, Guagua was a child. She was naive and couldn't understand the pain of being Ruan Qingxuang. She missed her parents and family, but she couldn't forgive them for forcing her to marry for the betrothal gift. From the day she ran away from the marriage, she was clear about the consequences of her actions. Ruan Qingxuang shook her head. "I can't go back. The day I left my hometown, I had completely broken with my family. Now, you are my family. I hope to be with you." A child of Guagua's age couldn't understand the pain in the heart of a person who said these words. But Chou Yun knew very well how much Ruan Qingxuang wanted to go home to take a look. Because if she still remembered where her hometown was and what her parents looked like, she would definitely want to go and take a look. Even if they sold her to money and evil, she would still have the urge to reunite with them. Unfortunately, she was too young at that time. She couldn't remember where her hometown was, and she couldn't remember what her parents looked like. Bu Fifan was also silent. He didn't want other people's emotions to break the urge in his heart. For many years, he spent the spring festival with Yi Fala. Yi Fala always had a way to make him forget those unpleasant memories. Now that Yi Fala wasn't by his side, who could understand the bitterness that he buried in his heart? "Sister Shuang, actually, we all support you to go home and take a look." Su Yun's bold action shocked everyone. Although other people also had the same idea, no one dared to say it out loud. However, Su Yun said casually, "Really? Because if any of us fantasized that if our parents were still around and could still find them, we would also go and take a look." Silence made the air quiet. Ruan Qingxuang finally gathered the courage to raise her head. At this time, her eyes were already hazy with tears. "I really don't know what I should do." Chou Yun rarely said such comforting words. "Sister Shuang, just do what you think. We are your family now. No matter what decision you make, we will support you." "Mom, I support you too," Guagua said seriously. Bu Fifan finally said, "Aunt Shuang, we all support you. You don't have to be so conflicted and suppress the deepest feelings in your heart. We believe that you will make the right choice." No one would have thought that the secluded and backward village in Ruan Qingxuang's hometown was only 300 kilometers away from the bustling metropolis of Shenzhen. After about 2.5 hours, Su Yun drove them to the village that even the streetlights had been installed less than half a year ago. Instead of calling it a village, it was more appropriate to call it a mountain village. The difference between this place and Shenzhen was like the difference between North Korea and the United States. Although it was a mountain village, it didn't feel like a painting at all. This was because there were only mountains and villages. A landscape painting without water couldn't be considered a landscape painting, and a mountain without water could never become a paradise that people in the city yearned for. Therefore, this mountain village that wasn't far from the bustling metropolis had always existed in such a backward manner. Although it was New Year's Eve, there weren't any fireworks in this mountain village. There were only sparse sounds of firecrackers occasionally. No one knew which rich child had the right to enjoy the treatment of setting off firecrackers during New Year's Eve. Perhaps the people who lived in this place, even if it was New Year's Eve, really couldn't bear to light firecrackers that cost dozens of yuan. Fireworks that cost hundreds of yuan were also a luxury that couldn't be bought. The dim street lights and the occasional dog barking were Guagua's first impression of this mountain village. There's actually such a place in our country. Guagua, who had been living in a honeypot since she was a child, could never have imagined such a place. Before this, she thought that Hadong was considered a relatively backward place in the country. She did not know that with the development of tourism, Hadong had become one of the top 100 counties in the country. It was considered rich compared to most places. This kind of place was truly backward and barren. While Guagua was marveling at this place's backwardness, Ruan Qingshuang actually said in surprise, "There are street lights. It seems that the village has developed well these few years. Wow, the asphalt road. The secretary has really brought benefits to the village. The changes are so big." After hearing this, Guagua found it even harder to imagine what kind of environment Ruan Qingshuang lived in when she was young. "Mom, you definitely did the right thing by running away." Guagua shook her head helplessly. "Which one is your home? I haven't been back for a long time. The changes are so big that I'm a little lost." Ruan Qingshuang saw the progress of the village and felt an indescribable, inexplicable joy in her heart. She said to Su Yun, "Drive along the road slowly. I should be able to recognize it." In this county where 5-wheeled agricultural vehicles were surrounded, the appearance of a Porsche Cayenne undoubtedly shocked the young people and children in the village. The sound of the car's engine was like a beautiful melody that attracted the villagers. There were more and more onlookers on the side of the road. Obviously, they didn't know what a Porsche was or what a Cayenne was. They only knew that this was the most beautiful car they had ever seen in their lives. It could be described as incomparable. Guagua shrugged her shoulders at Bufifan and said helplessly, "Do you feel like you're a star? So many fans are watching. They're watching the car." Bufifan didn't know whether to laugh or cry. "The gap between the rich and the poor is really terrible. I really hope that one day, Hua Xia can bridge this insurmountable gap. It's not that these people don't have the ability to be rich, it's just that they don't have the opportunity. Actually, they get it at the same time." Guagua actually said something amazing from the perspective of a wise person. They don't have the opportunity to be rich and have money, but they can breathe the freshest air, see the bluest and most beautiful sky, and drink the natural underground well water without bleach. Yes, God was fair. The people in the big city got money, material things, and all kinds of enjoyment. However, the most precious things for people, air, sunlight, and water, were becoming more and more unacceptable. Although the people in the remote mountain villages didn't have money, material things, or so many fancy luxuries, they enjoyed the air, water, and blue sky that the rich people in the city couldn't buy no matter how much money they spent. Ruan Qingshuang had changed so much after leaving the village that the villagers didn't even dare to recognize her. But no matter what, Ruan Qingshuang was the most beautiful girl in the surrounding villages, so she would always be recognized. Finally, someone in the crowd exclaimed, "Isn't this the daughter of old Ruan?" This exclamation caused an uproar in the crowd. Everyone was talking about it. Some said that old Ruan was lucky to have raised a good daughter. Now that she was in the car, he was going to take them to enjoy life. Others said that old Ruan must be regretting it. Back then, he drove his daughter away because of the betrothal gift. Now that his daughter had made a name for herself, she came back to humiliate him. But no matter what others said, Ruan Qingshuang remained silent. She continued to signal Su Yun to move forward. Helpless, the onlookers were about to surround the car. Su Yun was moving at the speed of an ant. There was really no other way. Su Yun could only put the car into neutral and step on the accelerator. The loud roar of the engine completely frightened the ignorant villagers. Everyone quickly ran away, afraid that the angry car would eat them up. There were even children who innocently shouted, "This is a transformer, an Autobot." Fortunately, this opened a path for Su Yun and the others to move forward. They continued to move forward, continuing to look for Ruan Qingshuang's unfamiliar home. But fortunately, Ruan Qingshuang's house was on the side of the road. Hard work paid off. When the car drove to the center of the village, Ruan Qingxuang finally exclaimed, "We're here." Chapter 655. Even when the Guagua family was in trouble, after Chou Yun brought her away from Suong, Guagua had never lived in such a brick house. Therefore, this was a huge shock to her. She could only sigh. This house is really special. I can't believe that there are still people living in such a house. So this is where my mother grew up. Bu Fifan was quite open-minded. Some people can't even live in such a house. When I was young, I lived in train stations and under bridges. At that time, I even dreamed of having a house that could shelter me from the wind and rain. Even if it was made of mud and grass, it would be fine. Guagua cracked a smile. This was the truth. She had to admit that she was lucky enough. At least after she was born, she had always had a luxury car and a villa to live in. Compared to the thousands of children in Huaxia, she was definitely an angel in the sky. Hearing the noise outside the door, Ruan Qingxuang's parents put down their bowls and chopsticks and walked out of the house. After all, there had never been such a lively scene in front of their house. In their village, even the party secretary's son's wedding did not have such a big scene. Almost everyone surrounded the road outside Ruan Qingxuang's house. When Ruan Qingxuang's parents walked out, they were really shocked. However, they quickly realized that these people were definitely not here to see them for the new year. It was because their only daughter had passed away many years ago. In the past, there would still be matchmakers coming to see them, but that was many years ago. Now, their house was famous for being poor. No one would come to ask about it. But now, such a luxurious car was parked in front of their house. They were really at a loss. They only remembered that when the party secretary's son got married, he borrowed a black car called Santana. It was definitely a big scene. Now, even a fool could tell that the luxurious car in front of them was much better than the Santana. Although the car stopped, Ruan Qingxuang did not open the door and get out of the car. Even though she was already at the door, even though her parents were in front of her heart was still in a mess. She was struggling, resisting what was about to happen. She did not know how her parents would treat her after she got out of the car. "Are you ready? Things may not be as bad as you think." Su Yun smiled. "I believe that as long as you are human, parents in the world will feel the same after seeing their own flesh and blood. Perhaps their longing for you is no less than your longing for them." Ruan Qingxuang nodded. She was the first to open the door and get out of the car. The clothes that Ruan Qingxuang was wearing were the New Year's gift from Gua from Versace. The classic Dior heels on her feet was a New Year's gift from Su Yun. And the small bag on her shoulder was limited edition Elvis's. These were not the most expensive thing she had on her. The custom-made scarf that was a new Zegna scarf around the neck. S was, news, S, the was. Where's was? Was this year's was the new was? S was the new was? Everyone in the village looked at this city girl as if they were looking at a Western mirror. They could not believe that this was the Ruan Qingxuang who had run away from home years ago. Then, Su Yun and Chou Yun also got out of the car. Guagua and Bu Fifan followed closely behind. Everyone who got out of the car was dressed like a movie star. Everyone's clothes were New Year's gifts that they had given to each other. The total value of these clothes was more than enough to buy everything in the village. The scene was very quiet. No villagers dared to bluff in front of these rich people. They all looked at them carefully, as if they were afraid that their breathing would disturb these rich people. "Dad, Mom." Ruan Qingxuang mustered up her courage and said, "Your daughter is unfilial." Tears instantly flowed down Lao Ruan's face. Since his daughter ran away from home, he had been sulking for 3 whole days. Then he fell into deep self-blame. Annoyance and regret engulfed him every day. When Mrs. Ruan heard her daughter's call, she completely collapsed. She felt that all this was a dream. "Grandpa, Grandma, my mother has come back to see you. Don't be sad. Be happy." Guagua was not shy at all. She generously pulled Ruan Qingshuang forward and said, "Let's go. Let's go home and talk. There are so many people watching. I'm embarrassed. Grandpa and Grandma. This little girl." Lao Ruan and his wife were shocked again. "Dad, hurry up." Guagua turned back and said to Su Yun. Su Yun helplessly shrugged his shoulders. This little girl would not give up until the misunderstanding was blown out of proportion. Su Yun could only walk forward with a bitter smile. He smiled and nodded at Lao Ruan and his wife's questioning eyes and greeted them. The villagers could not hold it in anymore and began to talk. "Have you seen enough? If you have, then go back." Cho Yan's piercingly cold gaze swept through everyone present, and everyone present was shocked speechless. It turned out that the women in the city were not only beautiful and stunning, but their auras were also so strong that it made people feel terrified. Bu Fifan said to a few young people and children who had been looking for a chance to touch the Portia Qians, "But you'd better not touch it. You can't afford to pay for it if you scratch it." "Okay, let's go home." Ruan Qingshuang finally found the feeling of being the owner and asked everyone to go home with her. She did not want to be the focus of the villagers' discussion and speculation, nor did she want to be in the limelight in front of the villagers. Su Yun motioned for Guagua and Cho Yun to go in first. Then he asked Bu Fifan to carry the cigarettes, wine, sweets, tea, and other New Year goods in the trunk with him. Of course, when Su Yun saw so many children drooling, he specially took out a bag of sweets and snacks from the dozens of New Year goods he bought and distributed them to the children. In the eyes of this group of mountain village children, Su Yun's position was instantly higher than the Jade Emperor's. When they got home, Lao Ruan and his wife began to look for cups to make tea. However, they only found 4 cups in the whole house. They even took out a glass bottle that they usually use to store pickled vegetables to make up the number. It could be said that this family was really poor to a certain extent. On the 18-inch black and white TV, the New Year of the Horses Spring Festival Gala was vaguely reflected. When the magician performed the magic of drawing bread, there was no mistake at all on the TV that was filled with snow. The 4 legs of the table were nailed with wood to ensure that the table would not collapse. A plate of dumplings, a cup of loose white wine, 2½ steamed buns, and a large pot of pork belly stewed with cabbage and vermicelli were the highest treatment that this family could enjoy during the New Year. The observant Su Yun even found that one of Nanny Ruan's pair of chopsticks was replaced by a tree branch. Su Yun took a deep breath and suppressed a burst of sadness. He looked at Ruan Qingshuang and saw that Ruan Qingshuang's eyes were already shining with tears. Perhaps the village had asphalt roads and streetlights, which was an earth-shattering change for her, but her home was obviously more barren than before. When Ruan Qingshuang was at home, she could still help the family do some things. The medicinal cuisine that she liked to make was also the reason that the only restaurant in the village asked her to help out. More or less, when Ruan Qingshuang was still alive, this family had not fallen to the point where it was today. Now, they were working closely with the old couple. They were already thankful that they could buy 10 yuan worth of pork belly during the New Year without having to buy it on credit. Sadness fiercely swallowed Ruan Qingshuang's heart. At this moment, she even began to regret what she had done. If she had held back and really married that rash person that she hated, perhaps the betrothal gifts from her in-laws could have really changed the situation of her parents. At least if she had stayed here, the family would not have been as poor as it was now. After Guagua entered the house, she did not say a word because she could not believe that there were people in Huaxia who were so poor. However, now she believed that perhaps there were many families in Huaxia who were even poorer than this family, who could not even afford to eat a little oil during the New Year. "Dad, Mom, I'm sorry. It's all my fault." Ruan Qingshuang could not help it anymore. She burst into tears and threw herself into her mother's arms. Even if a person grew up and matured, in the face of her mother's arms, she was still a child. At this moment, Ruan Qingshuang forgot all the things that her family had forced her to do. She was only left with a deep sense of self-blame. Mother Ruan held her daughter, tears streaming down her face. She knew that she and her husband had done many things to their daughter, but they were also forced. If they had not married their daughter, they would not have had the money to find a wife for their son. "It's good that you're back. It's good that you're back." Qingshuang, It's all our fault. It's better that you're back. The mother and daughter resolved everything. Ruan Qingxuang talked to her family about her outside life and introduced Su Yun and the others to her family. It showed that Su Yun and the others had taken care of her. It could be said that without Su Yun, she would not be who she was today. The Ruan couple also found Su Yun, their son-in-law, more and more pleasing to the eye. Soon, Ruan Qingxuang realized a problem. Where's my brother? The Ruan couple fell into silence. Su Yun opened a pack of cigarettes at the right time, handed one to old Ruan, and lit it for him. Then, he put the whole pack of cigarettes on the table. However, old Ruan, who had never smoked such expensive cigarettes in his life, was not in the mood to savor the taste of the cigarettes. Your brother left 2 months after you left. He said that the mine was recruiting workers and the salary was high. He went to earn money for his wife. In the first year, he came back once. Now, he hasn't been back for a long time. We can't get in touch with him. That's too unfilial. Did he forget his parents when he went out? Guagua said unhappily. Mother Ruan wiped her tears and said, I really hope that he forgot about us, and that something didn't happen to him. At this moment, the greatness of her parents was fully reflected in this rural old woman. She would rather have her son forget about them and let them grow old alone than have something happen to her son. In the world, other than parents, who else could be so great? Although it was the spring festival and their daughter had returned home, the family still seemed to be shrouded in sadness. This was something that could not be changed. Su Yun could only try his best to persuade them. Parents, don't worry. The mines now have strict safety regulations. It will be fine. Tell me where the mines are, and I will help you ask around. It will be fine. Of course, old Ruan's parents were excited and happy. They told Su Yun everything they knew. Chapter 656. The haze of the Ruan family's reunion slowly dissipated. Su Yun took out the things they bought one by one for Bu Fifan. Bu Fifan poured away the scattered white wine in Mr. Ruan's glass and poured him a proper Feitian Maotai. This was the first time in Mr. Ruan's life that he had drunk Maotai. The best wine he had ever drunk before was the bottle of Daku and Urku when his son got married in the village. Bu Fifan also poured a glass of French red wine for Mrs. Ruan. He said that drinking red wine could beautify a woman's complexion and help her recuperate. Mrs. Ruan didn't know that the price of this bottle of red wine was far more than their living expenses for a whole year. She just smiled and enjoyed the joy of a family reunion. Her daughter, who hadn't returned for many years, actually came back and brought her such a grandson and granddaughter. This made her happier than anything else. Even though Bu Fifan and Guagua weren't Mr. Ruan's biological children, their obedience was enough to make Mr. and Mrs. Ruan dote on them. Su Yun finally understood why Ruan Qingxuang bought so many bowls and chopsticks when they went shopping before they came. It turned out that when they ate at home, they didn't even have proper utensils. The pot of pork belly stewed with cabbage and vermicelli was filled with plastic bowls that were usually used to wash vegetables. But no one disliked everything here. Guagua ate very happily. In her words, the pork belly stewed with cabbage and vermicelli was absolutely better than the supreme steak pizza at Pizza Hut. Fortunately, they sold a lot of vacuum-packed meat before they came. Otherwise, this big family would only have one pot of pork belly stewed with cabbage and vermicelli, which really wasn't enough. Mrs. Ruan was also very embarrassed. She didn't know that so many people would come today to give the Ruan family such a big surprise, so she only bought 10 yuan of pork. Other than the stewed vegetables, the rest of the pork and cabbage were only used to make a plate of dumplings. But this plate was enough. It didn't matter how much dumplings were eaten. What mattered was that the family could sit together and eat. When the whole family sat together to eat, even if the stuffing was pure cabbage, it would still be fragrant if each person took a bite. Without a family, even if you were given a plate of sea cucumber, abalone, and shrimp stuffing, it would be tasteless. Happiness and joy overflowed on the faces of Ruan Qingxuang and her husband, as well as Ruan Qingxuang's face. Only those who had lost it knew how precious this long-lost happiness was. However, the tranquility and happiness of the Ruan family did not last for more than half an hour before it was broken by the clamor of people. Curses came from outside the door, and the sound of hoes and shovels colliding could be heard. "Old Ruan, bring your daughter and get your ass out here." Previously, our Lu family didn't stoop to your level because you don't have any children by your side. Now that your daughter is back, you have to give our Lu family an explanation. The cursing outside the door was getting louder and louder. Old Ruan and Mrs. Ruan's faces were filled with panic and bewilderment again. "Dad, Mom, this is all my fault. I'll handle it." Ruan Qingxuang stood up. "Trust me, I can handle it. I'll go with you." Su Yun also stood up. Needless to say, Chou Yun naturally stood up and followed. Ruan Qingxuang had helped her and Guagua. If anyone dared to touch Ruan Qingxuang, Chou Yun would definitely beat them until they cried for their parents. Bu Fifan also put down his bowl and chopsticks and said to old Ruan and his wife, "Grandpa, Grandma, don't worry. If anyone dares to touch my Aunt Shuang, I'll be the first to cripple them." Guagua put her hands on her waist and said, "That's right. Let's go. Let's see what they're going to do." Old Ruan and his wife had always been unable to raise their heads in front of the village elders because they did not have any children by their side. No matter what happened, they would nod and bow, swallow their anger, and apologize. They were afraid that if they provoked someone, they would have no one to back them up. All these years, old Lu's family had been cold to them, and they did not dare to make a sound. This time, they were enveloped by such a strong sense of security. This feeling once again made the two old men's eyes fill with tears. Ruan Qingxuang and the rest walked out of the door and saw 20 to 30 middle-aged men holding hoes and shovels. Old Lu stood in front of them, and beside him was his eldest son, Lu Gang, who looked a little too young. When the crowd saw Ruan Qingxuang, they hesitated for a long time before they could confirm that this western-looking city beauty was Ruan Qingxuang. Lu Gang was about to drool. He stared at Ruan Qingxuang with wide eyes and smacked his lips. "Qingxuang, I missed you so much. This time, you came back to spend the rest of your life with me, or to bring me to the city to enjoy life." In the face of such a shameless guy, Ruan Qingxuang had nothing to say to him. She looked at old Lu firmly and said, "Uncle Lu, I didn't agree to anything in the past. You don't have to entangle yourself with my family. Moreover, my parents didn't ask for a single cent from you. You'd better not make trouble without reason. Otherwise, don't blame me for calling the police." "Call the police?" Lu Gang snorted. "Qingxuang, you've been a rich lady in the city for a few days. Have you forgotten the situation in our hometown? There has never been a police officer in our place. Moreover, it's New Year's Eve. Where are you going to find the police? Even if you call the police, no one will come." Su Yun laughed in his heart. It was great that the police did not come. In other words, he could do whatever he wanted in a while. "Ruan Qingxuang, you're much more powerful than before. You've learned a lot in the city, haven't you?" Old Lu said firmly. "You ran away in the past, saying that it was because my son had a problem with his brain. He was not smart enough and was a fool. My son can't even find a wife now. Everyone in the surrounding villages said that you were afraid of marrying into our family and would rather go out and beg for food. You've made our Lu family lose face. My son can't even find a wife now because of you. Now that you're back, you're going to marry my son. You're going to give birth to our Lu family's children and carry on the family line." Ruan Qingxuang spat. If it weren't for old Lu's age, she would have scolded him for being shameless. Ruan Qingxuang had scruples, but Bu Fifan did not. He would not care about respecting the old and loving the young for an old bastard he did not know. "You're an adult. Don't you have any shame? Why don't you piss and let your son look at himself? Just drop it. What does he have to be worthy of my Auntie Shuang? Damn, I've learned a lot today. I've heard of toads wanting to eat swan meat, but I've never heard of a maggot in the toilet wanting to eat swan meat." Hearing such a brat call him a maggot, Lu Gang was furious. He picked up the hoe and said, "I'll kill you with this hoe." "Lu Gang, stop!" Ruan Qingxuang shouted angrily. Lu Gang glared at Bu Fifan and put down the hoe in his hand. Qing Shuang, I'll listen to you. As long as you come back and live with me, I'll listen to anything you say. Even if you want me to dig up my ancestors' graves with this hoe, I'll listen. When old Lu heard this, he really wanted to slap his son. Shut the *CK up. Don't talk nonsense if you want to get a wife. Guagua was really tickled by Lu Gang's words. Ha ha, I finally understand what not enough means. If your ancestors heard you, you wouldn't need to dig with your hoe. They would climb up and shake your hand. Even a little girl dared to laugh at him. Lu Gang could no longer control his emotions. If I don't kill you today, my surname is not Lu. Lu Gang, if you dare to touch my daughter, I'll make you wish you were dead. For the first time, Ruan Qingshuang showed her fierce side in front of others. In fact, many years of hard life in the city had already taught her this side, but she had never shown it. However, when someone really threatened the people she wanted to protect, she finally showed this side of her ruthlessly. Lu Gang was stunned and shocked. He almost went crazy. Your daughter? You betrayed me, you have a child. Lu Gang, let me tell you, you have no right to question me. Ruan Qingshuang said. We have no relationship at all. Don't think that I'm a member of your Lu family. We have no relationship at all. You bitch. You bitch. I'm going to kill you and your bastard child today. Lu Gang roared and raised his hoe. Just as Su Yun and Chou Yun were about to make a move before Lu Gang did something crazy, Bu Fifan suddenly took a big step forward and jumped up high. His right fist was like an arrow that shot out explosively, fiercely smashing into Lu Gang's face. Lu Gang, who worked hard every day and had a strong body, staggered and squatted on the ground after being hit by Bu Fifan's fist. His face quickly swelled up. Su Yun didn't expect Bu Fifan to have such great potential. This guy was quite scary when he was angry. Bu Fifan had long regarded Guagua as his own sister, and Ruan Qingshuang as half his mother, but he refused to admit it. Now that someone insulted his family, of course he didn't want to. Since the other party wanted to solve the problem by force, he would accompany them. He wanted to see if his fist was harder, or this bastard's mouth was harder. Lu Gang had always been famous for his fighting skills in the village. Now that he was thrown to the ground by a teenager, where would he put his face? Aleph * King kill you. Lu Gang shouted and got up. He held the hoe tightly and smashed it toward Bu Fifan's head. This guy was really crazy. He didn't care about the consequences at all. Bu Fifan was shocked. Facing the hoe that was smashing toward his face, he was really stunned. It wasn't that he hadn't fought in school before, but he had never met such a ruthless person. If this hoe really hit his face, he would probably be lucky to have a paralyzed face. He might really die here. At this critical moment, Ruan Qingshuang hugged Bu Fifan without hesitation and used her back to block Lu Gang's hoe. Bu Fifan's mind went blank. Ruan Qingshuang didn't care about her own life to protect him. This was an indescribable shock to Bu Fifan. Lu Gang was also dumbfounded. He didn't want to hurt the goddess he had admired since he was young, but he couldn't stop the hoe that had already been thrown. The hoe was about to hit Ruan Qingshuang's body, but it was caught by a strong hand. Unknowingly, Su Yun, who had been standing at the back, came to the front of the crowd. He caught the hoe that Lu Gang threw at him with his hand and said with a disdainful smile, "What's the point of bullying women and children when you're a man? Do you want to play with me? Daddy. Show him who's boss. Show him who he can't afford to offend." Guagua put her hands on her waist and said fiercely. Lu Gang was shocked, but he quickly recovered. He said fiercely, "Looks like you're that little bastard's father." Lu Gang, who was burning with anger, wanted to take back the hoe and have a good fight with Su Yun. However, he suddenly realized that no matter how hard he tried, the hoe wouldn't budge. Su Yun gently raised his wrist, and the other end of the hoe lifted Lu Gang up. Su Yun said with a relaxed face, "With this little strength, you must be very slow when doing farm work, right? Do you want me to teach you?" Chapter 657. Su Yun had a mocking smile on his face as he asked Lu Gang, who was panicking at the other end of the hoe. Lu Gang was so stupid that he even forgot to let go of the hoe. As Su Yun lifted him higher off the ground, his grip on the hoe tightened. It was as if the hoe could give him a sense of security. Do you know what crime you would have committed if you had really smashed it down? Su Yun sneered, Article 234 of the criminal law. Intentionally harming another person's body will be sentenced to not more than 3 years of imprisonment, criminal detention, or public surveillance. Causing a serious injury will be sentenced to not less than 3 years and not more than 10 years of imprisonment. Causing death or serious injury by cruel means will be sentenced to not less than 10 years of imprisonment, or life imprisonment, or even death. How could a group of villagers understand the law? They only knew that in the village, whoever's fist was harder would have the final say. The branch secretary's family had 4 sons. They were all strong and could fight. His fist was hard, so he was able to become the branch secretary. Originally, it was impossible for a group of villagers who liked to rely on their fists to solve problems to understand the meaning of the law. Perhaps they had heard of the need to be good citizens who followed the law, but there were very few who actually followed the law. If the law was really used to solve the problem, most of the villagers in the village would have broken the law. At least 30% of the villagers had bought their wives. This would implicate a large number of people who had committed the crime of human trafficking. Su Yun looked at the group of bewildered villagers and shook his head helplessly. Forget it, you won't understand even if I tell you. Then I'll use a more direct method to tell you. If you had hurt someone just now, it would be 100 times worse, no, 10,000 times worse. As soon as his voice fell, Su Yun suddenly threw the hoe in his hand horizontally. Lu Gang, who was caught off guard, was directly thrown out. The inertia caused him to violently slam into the thick willow tree in front of old Ruon's house, and then fall heavily to the ground. This caused Lu Gang's internal organs to be in a mess. Lu Gang was in so much pain that he rolled on the ground. Su Yun suddenly stepped forward and fiercely wedged the hoe down. The hoe was like a bolt of lightning. It brushed past the side of Lu Gang's head, creating a deep hole in the ground. The hoe was firmly nailed to the ground. Lu Gang, who was rolling on the ground in pain, was stunned. He didn't dare to move. If the hoe had been wedged on his head would have exploded. Old Lu was so scared that he almost had a heart attack. Of his 2 sons, the younger one had run out of the house and hadn't returned for several years. Although the older one had some problems with his brain and was a little rash, at least he could carry on the Lu family's ancestral line. If something were to happen to the younger one, then he wouldn't be able to live anymore. How could he face the ancestors of the Lu family? I'm really not someone who likes to use force to solve problems. However, if you force me, I won't hesitate. Su Yun, if you think you can take a beating, or if you think I won't kill you, then roll up your sleeves and fight me. Anyway, we all know that the police don't usually come. Today is New Year's Eve, so no one will care. I'll give you 2 choices. Either you hurry up and get lost and go home to have a reunion dinner with your wives and children, or you kneel here and I'll send you to the hospital. Su Yun's aura was too strong. The group of villagers who were prepared to stand up for the Lu family were a little scared. What? A car that costs more than 2 million to send you to the hospital, and you still think it's embarrassing? It's better than taking an ambulance. Su Yun pointed at his black Kian. If you have to do it, then do it. Don't waste time. Hurry up and do it quickly. Don't be like a sissy and waste time. A car that costs more than 2 million? Whether it was the group of villagers carrying weapons or the group of onlookers, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Even if they added up the money of the hundreds of families in the village, they still wouldn't be able to afford this iron bastard. Old Lu, who had previously threatened to smash the villager's car, was also scared. Not to mention a car that cost 2 million, even if it was placed in front of him, he wouldn't dare to smash it. If it was damaged, even if he sold his wife and life, he wouldn't be able to afford it, let alone sell his pot and iron. The group of people who had been so aggressive just now felt their legs go soft. The city dweller in front of them was obviously rich, capable, and super awesome at fighting. This was a character that could only be found in gay idol dramas. Sorry, this group of villagers probably didn't know what gay idol dramas were. F***ck, let's see if you can kill me or what. Lu Gang was indeed the dumbest of the dumbest. There wasn't even a single person who dared to speak up for his Lu family. Yet, he still recklessly crawled up and patted the dirt off his butt. With a loud cry, he pulled out the hoe that Su Yun had wedged into the ground. Let me tell you, this matter between us isn't over yet. Either you die, or I. Before Lu Gang could finish his words, he screamed. Su Yun didn't have the time to listen to his idioms. Without waiting for Lu Gang to finish his words, he slapped Lu Gang's face, causing him to complete a 720-degree spin in the air. If this move was used in a floor exercise competition, it would definitely earn him a high score. Unfortunately, Lu Gang didn't live up to expectations. When he landed, he fell flat on his face and lost 3 of his front teeth. He wasn't born to practice floor exercise. You will definitely die, Su Yun said disdainfully. You are really the same as your brother, Lu Bao. I gave you face, but you don't want it. On the side, old Lu was suddenly shocked by Su Yun's words. He stared at Su Yun, the god in front of him, and suddenly burst into tears. Do you know where my son, Lu Bao, is? Little brother, I beg you, tell me where my youngest son is. I will kneel and apologize to you. I will kneel and apologize to Old Ruan and Qing Shuang. I swear that I will never cause trouble for Old Ruan again. I only beg you to tell me where my youngest son is. Lu Gang's face was swollen, but he didn't change. He even ran forward and said angrily, Father, what are you begging him for? I will kill him today. What do you mean by not causing trouble for Old Ruan? Let me tell you, if you don't let Old Ruan marry his daughter to me, I will fight you to the death today. Lu Gang's reckless behavior was booed by the villagers. A son like this would give anyone a headache. If even his father treated him like this, who would dare to marry their daughter to him? He really didn't know what was good for him. Tie up your big idiot and send him back, then I will tell you, Su Yun said. Old Lu was stunned for a moment, but in the end, he followed Su Yun's instructions and gave a look to his nephews who had come to help. The people who had come to deal with Su Yun all turned their attention to Lu Gang. As Lu Gang cursed and struggled, the crowd tied him up like a dumpling. Even so, Lu Gang was still shouting about how he would kill someone, and how he would kill someone. He didn't keep a low profile at all. Bu Fifan couldn't stand it anymore. He took off one of his socks and went forward to stuff it into Lu Gang's mouth. Shut your stinky mouth and let this brother's sock smoke you properly. You can speak only when it is done. Lu Gang's eyes were as big as a cow's egg, but he couldn't say anything else. Old Lu was really annoyed by his eldest brother, so he could only let a few people carry him home first, while he stayed behind to find out about his youngest son's whereabouts. This was the first time he had heard about his youngest son's whereabouts, so he was really excited. Little brother, tell me quickly, I will kneel to you. Don't kneel to me. Because of you, you have caused so much trouble for the Ruan family and Qing Shuang. If you want to kneel, kneel to her. Su Yun didn't hold back. He didn't have any intention of giving face to the other party just because he was older. When old Lu heard this, he didn't hesitate to walk to Ruan Qing and kneel in front of her. Qing Shuang, Uncle Lu has been wrong all these years. Please forgive me. Uncle Lu, what are you doing? Get up. Get up. Even if you didn't come to me today, I would have gone to you and told you about this. Ruan Qing Shuang went forward to help old Lu up. Lu Bao is now locked up in Hadong prison. He is suspected of gambling, theft, fraud, extortion, usury, and other crimes, so he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Old Lu felt dizzy. No wonder his son didn't come back. It turned out that he was sentenced. Uncle Lu, I was also in Hadong at that time. I was friends with Officer Qin, who was there at that time. I helped Lu Bao to plead for leniency. 3 years is already a very light sentence. Ruan Qing Shuang said, so Uncle Lu, don't be sad anymore. As long as Lu Bao performs well, he may be able to get a reduced sentence. If you have a chance, go and see him. Maybe he will work hard to get out of prison as soon as possible. Su Yun admired Ruan Qing Shuang the most. She repaid evil with good. At that time, Ruan Qing Shuang secretly told Qin Wan that although Lu Bao was a scoundrel who deserved it, he was still from her hometown. She still hoped that Qin Wan could tell the people in prison to take care of him. These were all told by Qin Wan to Su Yun after the incident. Su Yun pretended not to know. Qing Shuang. Uncle Lu is sorry for you. Sorry for your Wan family. Old Lu's tears. No one knew whether he was crying for his son or because he was ashamed of his behavior. Old Ruan and his wife also came out of the house. Old Ruan went forward and said, "Old Lu, don't mention the past. Let bygones be bygones. Old Ruan, your family is called Good People Get Good Karma." Old Lu said, "Qing Shuang is successful now. She even found you such a good son-in-law. You too can go to the city to enjoy life in the future." Alas, good people get good karma. I brought this upon myself, Old Lu said as he turned and left. His back looked very lonely. Good people get good karma. This saying was not wrong at all. The villagers who originally looked down on the Ruan family came forward one after another, fawning and asking about their well-being. This was because they all knew that if they had a fellow villager in the city in the future, they would have a place to stay if they really went to do something. Humans had a reason for everything they did. If you had no value, no one would treat you well and flatter you. If you had value, people would flatter you. This was a layer of interpersonal relationships that could never be changed. Moreover, in this society, there were too many such people who were good at flattering and sucking up to others. Everyone would have a so-called friend who would come forward if he needed you and stay behind if he didn't need you. This was the kind of person. This kind of person would only appear when he thought that you could help him. And when you had no value to him, he would never contact you. After so many years, Old Ruan's house was crowded for the first time. More and more villagers came to greet the new year. More and more people brought their children to say hello because Ruan Qing would give all the children a handful of delicious snacks that they had never seen before. The New Year's bell rang. Bright fireworks were set off in the open space in front of Old Ruan's house. This was the first time someone set off fireworks in this barren mountain village. Even the son of the party secretary didn't set off fireworks on his wedding day. It lit up the night sky of the entire mountain village. All the villagers squatted in front of their houses, looking up and smiling as they watched the big scene that they had only seen on TV before. Chapter 658. For Ruan Qing, for Guagua, for Su Yun, and for everyone else, this night had an extraordinary meaning. It was believed that even after 10 years, when Guagua had grown into a slender and elegant young lady, she would still feel emotional and sentimental because of what she experienced today. Because the Ruan Qing really didn't have a decent bed to provide a place for guests to stay, even though she really wanted Su Yun and the others to stay here for a few days, she really couldn't afford to. Before leaving, Ruan Qing really hoped that she could bring her parents to the city, and Su Yun also agreed with her idea. After all, with their current financial strength, even in Shenzhen, buying a house wasn't a big deal. However, the Ruan couple calmly refused. It wasn't because they felt sorry for their daughter, so they didn't want to enjoy life with their daughter, but because they wanted to stay at home and wait for their son to return. No one knew whether Ruan Qing's brother was in trouble or whether he could come back, but as parents, they absolutely couldn't give up hope for their son. They stayed here so that their son could have hot noodles to eat when he came back. Because the Ruan couple didn't want to leave, they didn't have the right to force them. Fortunately, the New Year goods they brought were enough for the two of them to have a good New Year. Before leaving, everyone took out the money in their pockets. There was roughly 30 to 40,000 yuan. There was no ATM in the village. If there was, Su Yun would definitely dare to empty it. Although 30 to 40,000 yuan was nothing in their eyes, it was just a drop in the ocean. In Shenzhen, it was just a square meter of the house price, which was also a glass of red wine for the rich. However, in the eyes of the Ruan couple, this wealth was too huge. In the past, 30 yuan was a month's living expenses for the two of them. Throughout the year, including all the festivals and barbecues, the two of them spent about 400 yuan. 4,000 yuan was 10 years' worth. 30 to 40,000 yuan was a lifetime's living expenses for them. Moreover, they were now more than 50 years old, and there were only 20 to 30 years left. They really couldn't spend so much. However, even so, the Ruan couple didn't refuse the money. Perhaps, in their hearts, they still kept the idea of waiting for their son to come back and marry him. In the heart of the Ruan couple from the mountain village, 10,000 yuan was a huge sum of money to marry a wife. They didn't know that 10,000 yuan couldn't even buy a zircon proposal ring that was called diamond. When a girl in the city was being proposed to by an excellent boy in the environment of Western food, red wine, and piano playing, she really should think about those in the countryside who didn't know what love was, but they could have children with a strange man because of their parents' orders and a mere 10,000 yuan betrothal gift. Thinking of this, most of the girls should be satisfied. A female colleague was boyfriend's husband. She had had a boyfriend. She was 100 and she was a female civil servant. She got rid of those so-called bourgeois. Boyus. Her before, Although her husband wasn't a big boss, and he wasn't even middle class, at least he had some success in his career. But after she got married, she began to be unsatisfied. She started to compare who drove a Porsche and who drove a Ferrari. In the end, they got into a big fight and got divorced. However, under the new marriage law, she didn't get any of her husband's property before marriage. She just used 5 years to turn herself into a haggard woman. When she looked for a partner again, because it was her second marriage, she could only make do with a man who drove a BYD egg. In fact, this was a good choice. Many people who drove a BYD egg wouldn't consider a second marriage when choosing a partner. Contentment brings joy. This saying was not wrong at all. Everyone left the mountain village at 1 o'clock in the morning. At that time, the mountain village was quiet on New Year's Eve. When they returned to Shenzhen at 3:30 in the morning, there were still bright fireworks in the night sky of Shenzhen from time to time. The streets were decorated with lanterns and streamers. Everywhere was showing the happiness and joy of the new year. Although there was no astrological forecast, everyone saw a meteor in the night sky from the rooftop of the Shinkai Hotel. Make a wish quickly. Su Yun smiled slightly. He was very clear that everyone present would have their own little wish in their hearts. Guoguo's wish was unexpected. She didn't wish for her breasts to be bigger when she grew up, nor did she wish for her to have a deeper career line when she grew up. She actually said, "I hope that during the 2 sessions, the members of the CPPCC and the People's Congress can really realize that the Huaxia hasn't changed, and the gap between the rich and the poor is getting bigger. They can change the lives of the people at the bottom, even if it's just to change their children. Children were the flowers of the country, the pillars of the future, and the sustainability of social development. All children should be fair. Some children shouldn't be born to soak in the honey pot while others roll in the mud." Guoguo's wish touched everyone present. Cho Yun hugged Guoguo silently. She felt that she was much more selfish than Guoguo, because her wish was that Guoguo could be happy, carefree, and happy for the rest of her life. She didn't think that any other children should have the same happy childhood as Guoguo. As the fireworks gradually faded, the bed was the final resting place. Because they didn't have to wake up early on the first day of the new year like the tradition of living in their hometown, they slept very comfortably. Even Su Yun, who was the first to wake up, realized that it was already 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Shinkai Hotel didn't have a holiday because of the new year, because the hotel specially launched the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner. After Su Yun woke up and washed up, the first thing he wanted to do was to ask about the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner. At that time, there weren't many people who ordered the New Year's Eve dinner, so Su Yun didn't think it was very ideal. After all, it wasn't easy for people to accept something that was suddenly new. In many people's eyes, medicinal cuisine should be a small dish for a single person, and it was difficult to make it to the big picture. However, Shinkai Hotel was such a big hotel, and it arranged medicinal cuisine on such a big stage, like the New Year's Eve dinner. It was normal that some people couldn't accept it. However, to Su Yun's surprise, the F&B department brought him a piece of good news. The medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner last night inexplicably became the most popular New Year's Eve dinner. He didn't know which family's child who ordered the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner posted the picture of the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner on Weibo, and it became popular in a short period of time. Within half an hour, the F&B department of Shinkai received more than 200 calls to order the meal. In the end, all the tables were arranged, and there were even people who came to order the meal. Some obsessed family members even insisted on waiting until the guests finished eating and left. It wouldn't be too late for them to start eating then. Perhaps the characteristic of medicinal cuisine struck a chord with everyone who paid for the New Year's Eve dinner, because they all hoped that their parents could eat something more nourishing, live a little longer, and have more days to fulfill their filial piety. This was the mutual affection between family members, and this affection was the most easily poked point on New Year's Eve. Within half an hour, the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner had become the best New Year's Eve dinner to fulfill filial piety on the internet. How could there be no filial son who paid for it? Therefore, the popularity of the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner was definitely not a coincidence. It was something that was produced in accordance with the times, the people, and the needs of the people. After all, it was a 5-star hotel, and the price of the medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner was not low because of its novelty. There were prices ranging from 6,666 yuan to 9,999 yuan. However, people who could afford the New Year's Eve dinner did not care about a few thousand yuan. Almost 95% of the 200 to 300 tables of medicinal cuisine New Year's Eve dinner had the highest standard of 9,999 yuan. It was glorified in the name of lasting forever, hoping that the whole family would be happy for a long time. In addition to the New Year's Eve dinner, the F&B department of Shinkai earned a bag full of gold and silver last night. This business was really off to a good start. Su Yun expressed his heartfelt gratitude to all the staff who fought on the front lines and immediately promised that all the staff who worked overtime would receive a red packet. There were more and more people who went on holiday during the Spring Festival. Therefore, during the entire holiday, there was an endless stream of customers at Shinkai. A high-end group had to book a high-end hotel like Shinkai. In terms of cooperation with the travel agency, the housekeeping department proposed a new policy, and as expected, it was very profitable. Everything in Shinkai Hotel was carried out step by step. Everyone was doing what they were supposed to do. During the Spring Festival, there was no trouble or harassment. Su Yun definitely fell in love with this kind of life. He did not know when he would be able to be so carefree. Now, there were 3 big crises surrounding him. Big boss Bao Tianxia was trying to rope him in, Hades' King Lang Chen was threatening him, and Butcher Huang Xiong and Taiwan's 3 Lotus Clubs had to deal with. The 6th day of the Spring Festival was a good day. It seemed that all the work that had stopped because of the Spring Festival had resumed. Qin Wan Chong, and the others had all returned to Shenzhen to reunite with them. Su Yun still did not see Lin Gu. Perhaps Gu Zueran was really hurt this time. In the afternoon, before sunset, Wu Yuandong also appeared at Shinkai Hotel. When he left, Su Yun did not ask him where he was going to celebrate the Spring Festival because he did not know if Wu Yuandong had any family members. Some words could not be said carelessly. It was easy to hurt people's feelings. Su Yun would not do such a thing. Wu Yuandong knew that Su Yun was curious, so he spoke first. I went back to Taiwan for 2 reasons. First, I wanted to find out what Ji Feng was doing. Second, I wanted to go home. Although there are not many people at home, there should be some people around. It's so dangerous to go home. Aren't you afraid that Ji Feng will send people to catch you? Su Yun smiled. I'm afraid that he has already arranged for his people to come to the mainland. Wu Yuandong shrugged. He already knows that I'm still alive. Huang Xiong and Ji Feng have contacted each other. Obviously, Ji Feng will vent all his anger on us. He must already know that the firearms have been investigated by the police. Su Yun was stunned for a moment. Huang Xiong was really black-hearted. He's trying to kill someone with a borrowed knife. That's right. Wu Yuandong said, originally, I wanted to talk to young Miss about the current situation after Ji Feng left Taiwan, but I didn't expect that after Ji Feng left Taiwan, he had his trusted aide secretly keep an eye on the president and young Mississippi. I really didn't have a chance to get close. I know that Ji Feng must have already arrived in Shenzhen. Our trouble is here, so I rushed back as fast as I could. Su Yun shrugged. Since Huang Xiong wants to kill with a borrowed knife, can't we give him a taste of his own medicine? Wu Yuandong did not understand what Su Yun meant. They did not have the conditions to give him a taste of his medicine. Chapter 659. Since Ji Feng had already joined forces with Huang Xiong in Shenzhen, Su Yun could only make use of his time. When he took the initiative to call Bao Tianxia was naturally overjoyed. However, at the same time, there was also a trace of doubt in his heart. Why would Su Yun, who had always rejected his attempts to rope him in, suddenly take the initiative? Clearly, there was something fishy about this matter. Of course, Bao Tianxia was not the only one who could see that there was something fishy about this matter. The thousand-faced Guanyin beside him was definitely not someone to be trifled with. After Bao Tianxia hung up the phone, Li Chun raised his doubts. Big boss, there's a reason for this. Perhaps Su Yun is taking the initiative because he wants to use your desire to rope him in to do something for him. So what? Using is mutual. If I'm not using him, why would I rope him in? Bao Tianxia asked with a slight smile. Even if there was something fishy, Bao Tianxia felt that it was worth a try. As long as Su Yun could help him with the matter in the Xing'an Mountain Range snow forest, so what if he was used by Su Yun once? Li Chun nodded. It seems that Su Yun has already thought it through. He's making a deal with you. The bargaining chip you offered might not be what he wants, so he rejected it. Now that he has something you can do for him, he suddenly contacted you. If I'm not wrong, he has the bargaining chip he wants. Bao Tianxia's smile was unfathomable. That's right. I want to see what kind of bargaining chip he wants. I'm even willing to give up half of my empire. What else can't I do for him? Ha ha ha. Go prepare the car. I want to meet Su Yun. Yes. Li Chun immediately went to make the arrangements. Su Yun and Wu Yuandong arrived at the clubhouse that they had arranged to meet Bao Tianxia in advance. Even the rich couldn't casually enter this clubhouse. Other than the high entrance fee and the astonishing annual membership fee, this place also required face and status. If one wasn't a nationally or internationally recognized businessman or celebrity, one wouldn't have the qualifications to join the club. And those who were truly qualified to join the club didn't have the time to spend in this club every day. Therefore, this place could be said to be quite deserted. Other than the annual large-scale exchange of successful people where these successful people had the opportunity to interact, it was really quiet at other times. The fact that Bao Tianxia was able to arrange a meeting in this clubhouse proved that he wasn't an ordinary person. After Su Yun mentioned Bao Tianxia's name, he was immediately treated as a VIP. Two beautiful receptionists guided Su Yun and Wu Yuandong to the room that Bao Tianxia had arranged for them. They were served the best wine and cigars, and the most perfect service. Su Yun even believed that if he asked the two beautiful waitresses to help him take off his clothes and take a shower, they would do it without hesitation. The treatment enjoyed by the upper class was simply too great. If Su Yun were to describe it, this place would probably be heaven on earth. Unfortunately, Su Yun came here to negotiate with Bao Tianxia, not to enjoy life. He couldn't let himself fall into this pool of wine and forest of meat. After the two beautiful waitresses left, Su Yun and Wu Yuandong breathed a sigh of relief. Everyone could resist temptation for a while, but it was absolutely impossible for them to resist it for a night. Brother Dong, what do you think of the layout of this room? Su Yun asked. Wu Yuandong nodded. The person who arranged this room must know feng shui, but I'm not interested in it. What I'm more interested in is the calligraphy and paintings in this room. If I'm not wrong, this vase should be from the Ming dynasty. If it's real, it should be worth a lot. Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. I think it should be real. If I'm not wrong, Bao Qianxia isn't just a member of this club. Are you saying that all of these things could be his? Wu Yuandong was stunned for a moment before he exclaimed, "You're right. Aside from his identity as a big boss, he's also an antique collector. These bottles and jars might be precious antiques to us, but they're nothing to him." Su Yun nodded. Maybe. Footsteps could be heard from afar. Wu Yuandong glanced at Su Yun. "He's here. You really made us wait for a long time." Su Yun deliberately raised his voice. The door was pushed open by the beautiful waitress, and Bao Qianxia strode in. "Brother Su, I'm really sorry. I rushed to Shenzhen from Yanjing after receiving your call. It's mainly because you're so mysterious. Weren't you in Qingdao before? Why are you suddenly in Shenzhen? Big boss, let's not beat around the bush. You probably know when I came to Shenzhen like the back of your hand." Su Yun said, "The person who's really mysterious is you. I thought you'd be waiting for my reply in Qingdao, but I didn't expect you to come to Yanjing in the blink of an eye. It's the end of the year. There are too many things to do." Bao Qianxia said, "Also, I have to make preparations. If Brother Su isn't willing to cooperate with me, I can only use other methods. Of course, I have to use my connections to find a way. In today's society, don't we rely on Qianlei to build relationships? When it comes to matters, it's hard to do anything at the last minute. That's why I have to move around during the holidays." Su Yun said apologetically, "Big boss is busy every day. Am I holding you up?" "Brother Su, you know that nothing around me is more important than your matters," Bao Qianxia said happily. Bao Qianxia said, "Your matter is my most important matter. I think that as long as I show my sincerity, Brother Su will also show his sincerity to me. When I can make you feel that my matter is your matter, then wouldn't we be able to cooperate better? Ha ha ha, I'm a few years older than you, so of course, I have to set an example. Big boss is really big boss. Your thoughts are much higher than ours." Su Yun's words were the most flattering words he had ever said to Bao Qianxia. Bao Qianxia laughed. "In that case, let's get straight to the point. Brother Su, are you going to introduce this friend to me first, or do you want to get straight to the point?" Wu Yuandong. Su Yun said, "My friend is also here to help me with this matter of asking the big boss for help." Li Chun smiled and poured tea for the three of them. "Is that so? Boss Su, why do I feel that you contacted Big Boss to help you because of your friend's matter? Maybe, who knows?" Su Yun shrugged. Since he brought Wu Yuandong here, he wasn't afraid that they would think too much. "Hello, Big Boss," Wu Yuandong said. Bao Qianxia smiled and looked at Wu Yuandong. After a long time, he smiled. "Brother Su, it seems that this Brother Wu also helped you in Xing and Mountain, right? Now I'm really curious. What's so difficult for the two of you to work together? Asking me for help? You think too highly of me." Su Yun said, "Big boss, don't underestimate yourself. Whatever we can do, you can do too, Big boss. You can do what we can't do, Big boss. Isn't that right? Then I'm really interested." Bao Qianxia made an expression of listening attentively. "Big boss is knowledgeable. You should have heard of Huang Xiong." Su Yun didn't beat around the bush and went straight to the point. It was meaningless to beat around the bush with smart people like Bao Qianxia and Li Chun. It would only be a waste of time. Bao Qianxia didn't answer or deny. Li Chun said, "Are you talking about Butcher Huang Xiong? The guy who relies on arms dealers to make a living?" "That's right." Su Yun said, "Big boss, to tell you the truth, I'm not afraid of touching your sore spot. You provided so many excellent weapons and equipment to your Viper expedition team. I'm sure you know a lot of middlemen like Hua Xia who rely on arms dealers to make a living. Huang Xiong should be one of the more famous ones among them. I think you must have some connections with him." Bao Qianxia finally reacted. He nodded. "That's right. I do know Huang Xiong and I've bought a lot of things from him. According to our relationship, he and I should be considered as business partners who have had business dealings before." Su Yun smiled. It sounds like you have a good relationship with him. Looks like I found the wrong person. Brother Su, I said that nothing is more important than your business. Bao Tianxia said, so no one is more important than you. If you have anything to say, just say it. Trust me, I'll definitely stand by your side. Su Yun wanted Bao Tianxia to say, he wants to kill me now. Bao Tianxia didn't say anything. He just looked at Su Yun quietly. Li Chun spoke for Bao Tianxia again. Manager Su, you must be joking. Although Huang Xiong is a super expert, it's easier said than done to kill you. You're not even afraid of the emperor crocodile we raised in Qingdao Lake. Who else would you be afraid of? To be honest, I'm a little scared this time. Animals are animals after all. They're different from humans. Humans can use their brains and find helpers. Animals can't. That's why I'm not afraid of the animals in your lake, but I'm afraid of humans. Su Yun smiled. Boss, you don't think I'm joking, do you? I'm not joking. Bao Tianxia said, if it's just Huang Xiong looking for trouble with you, I don't think you'll look for me. After all, you owe me a favor. Tell me, who did Huang Xiong find to help him? And why is he looking for trouble with you? Su Yun spread his hands. I caused him to lose a batch of firearms. He was the one who blackmailed the firearms. Now, the person who blackmailed the firearms is also in Shenzhen. He doesn't know that Huang Xiong was the one who blackmailed the firearms. I'm sure Huang Xiong will push all the blame to me. Who is he? Bao Tianxia asked. Wu Yuandong answered. Ji Feng. After a short silence, Li Chun frowned. The head of the Three Lotus Association's Crimson Metal Hall, Ji Feng? Heh. Huang Xiong is indeed powerful. He even dared to take the Three Lotus Association's goods. Isn't he afraid of causing trouble? He didn't take the goods that the Three Lotus Association wanted. Instead, he took the goods that Ji Feng wanted. That's why he's not afraid of causing trouble, Su Yun said. Bao Tianxia smiled. So, this Ji Feng wants to rebel? Ha ha ha, he's really ambitious. I admire people like him the most. Ha ha, because I'm that kind of person. Brother Su, if you want me to help you deal with someone I admire, then you have to give me a good reason. Otherwise, I really don't know if I should help you. Su Yun smiled. He didn't fall into a passive position. I remember when we first met, boss, you said that my business is your business. You have to show me your sincerity first. Only then will I know your sincerity and treat you with sincerity. Isn't that right? Chapter 660. Big Boss, you are a smart person. Why ask when you already know the answer? Su Yun said, I invited you here because I know you are a sincere person. Bao Tianxia's smile was sinister and ruthless. Brother Su, all right, I can be a sincere person. But don't forget that people are equal. I hope that after I show you my sincerity, you will also show me your sincerity. Su Yun smiled and didn't say anything. He didn't promise Bao Tianxia anything, nor did he deny anything. Since you are here, don't leave tonight. I will arrange everything. Bao Tianxia smiled. There are all kinds of things you want to enjoy here. We are all men, so there is no need to restrain yourselves. England, France, Japan, America, as long as you want women, you can have them all here. Su Yun stood up and said, I am sorry, Big Boss. There is a saying that one should not accept a reward for nothing. I have something to ask of you, so how can I let you arrange it? If there is only entertainment left, then I will take my leave. If you have already arranged it, then you can invite Huang Xiong to enjoy it. Haha, after all, I caused Huang Xiong to have so many of his firearms confiscated. Just treat it as courtesy demands reciprocity. I will present Buddha with borrowed flowers and give him the opportunity to enjoy it. Brother Su, you really like to mess things up. Bao Tianxia smiled. Because of you, my things are buried deep underground. Because of you, Huang Xiong's things were confiscated. Aren't you afraid that Huang Xiong and I will work together to deal with you? Of course, it is not impossible. Su Yun said, unfortunately, Big Boss wants me to live. Bao Qianxia said, I am convinced. Brother Su, you see my thoughts too clearly. I have to help you. Then I will take my leave. Su Yun stood up. Wu Yuandong also stood up. See the guest out. Bao Qianxia said lightly. Li Chun immediately opened the door and made a gesture of invitation. After leaving the club, Wu Yuandong worriedly said to Su Yun, if Bao Qianxia helps us, then what will you do? Will you help him too? Of course not. Su Yun shook his head. If that's the case, won't Bao Qianxia's trouble be even bigger? Wu Yuandong said, I don't want you to bring more trouble to yourself because of me. If that's the case, I'd rather not have Bao Qianxia intervene in this matter. Su Yun shook his head. Brother Dong, don't you understand? Even if I don't need Bao Qianxia to do anything for me, he won't give up on roping me in. Even if he helped me, I still didn't help him. He couldn't do anything about it. Unless I can find a second person who can bring him to the snow forest, otherwise, no matter what I do, he can only choose to endure. But there can't be only one solution to anything. If Bao Qianxia finds another way to solve this matter, he will mercilessly attack you and take revenge on you. Wu Yuandong said, haven't you thought about the consequences? Brother Dong, let's talk about this later. Su Yun said, even if I don't use him, he can still find other ways to take revenge on me. But now, it seemed that it was impossible for him to find a second method. Even if he finds one, it won't work. Even if he wants to take revenge on me, I have my own way to deal with him. Wu Yuandong knew that what Su Yun said was reasonable, and he couldn't persuade Su Yun if he decided on something. Since Su Yun wanted to do this, he could only support him. If Su Yun was in trouble in the future, he would definitely accompany him to the end, even if he had to give up his life. After Su Yun left, Bao Qianxia smashed everything in the room, including the expensive Ming Dynasty vase. Li Chun didn't say anything. He quietly watched Bao Qianxia vent his anger. Bastard! Bao Qianxia's anger finally dissipated. He gritted his teeth and said, Su Yun, oh Su Yun, do you think that I can't do anything without you now? You ignored me, I endured. You used me, I endured. You asked me to help you kill someone who wants to cause you trouble, and I did it. But you didn't give me any sincerity. Before Su Yun left, he didn't promise Bao Qianxia that if Bao Qianxia helped him, he would help Bao Qianxia. That was why Bao Qianxia was so angry. If Su Yun had agreed today, the result would have been completely different. People who could achieve great things were always true to their words. They would never break their promises. But Su Yun didn't agree, which meant that he didn't really intend to help Bao Qianxia after Bao Qianxia helped him. Even a fool could see that Su Yun was openly taking advantage of the fact that Bao Qianxia couldn't do anything to him in the dark, so he was unscrupulous. For so many years, no one had ever dared to negotiate with Bao Qianxia. For so many years, no one had ever dared to use Bao Qianxia in such an open manner. But today, such a person appeared. Bao Qianxia's anger even swallowed his reason. For a moment, he even wanted to end Su Yun's life. But in the end, he didn't do that. Even if there was only a trace of hope, he still wanted to get Su Yun's help. Before the Spring Festival, he went to the Ministry of Forestry, hoping to get a logging permit. But he was met with a face full of rejection. Now was the time for the government to strictly enforce discipline. No one would risk losing their job because of something that violated the law. Furthermore, it wasn't just about losing one's job. It was a national-level protected forest. If anyone dared to approve the logging, they wouldn't just lose their job. They might even lose their head. Bao Qianxia couldn't go against the law. If he offended the government, he would only be severely punished. It wasn't that he hadn't heard of the country's mysterious special forces. They were all well-equipped and well-trained experts. If he recklessly went against the government, he might suffer a heavy blow from them. Bao Qianxia was smart, but he wasn't a fool. He knew that he couldn't go against the government. No matter how powerful he was, how awesome he was, how insufferably arrogant he was, in front of the country he was just a fart. Contact Huang Xiong. Tell him that I want the goods and want to meet him. After venting all his anger, Bao Qianxia finally calmed down. Tell him to come to me now. Li Chun took a deep breath. Big boss, I still think you should think twice before you act. Now that we have been led by the nose by Su Yun step by step, we should teach him a lesson appropriately and let him know that we are using him because we think highly of him. Don't let him always think that he is invincible. Bao Qianxia closed his eyes and waved his hand. Don't talk so much nonsense. You're not me. You don't know how much effort I've put into the Xing'an Mountain Range's ice forest. Do as I say. You have to understand that I'm not doing this to help Su Yun. I'm doing this to help myself. Even if there's only a small chance, I'll fight for it. Big boss, you've done enough. Li Chun let out a long sigh. I won't give up on Su Yun unless it's the last resort. But once he asks me to give up on him, I'll make him die more miserably than anyone else. I want you to investigate everyone around him. If he still doesn't know what's good for him after I help him, I'll make him pay the price. Bao Qianxia sneered. I can't bear to kill him, but I can kill everyone around him one by one. I can make him suffer until he agrees to help me. Li Chun's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that the boss was really angry. In the steaming room filled with steam, Huang Xiong was enjoying the tender caresses of the three beauties. This feeling was too cool. His anger and resentment seemed to have evaporated along with his tiredness. Huang Xiong let out a long breath. Although he had done business with Bao Qianxia many times, it was the first time that Bao Qianxia treated him so well. It was reasonable to say that Bao Qianxia was the boss who paid the money, and he was the supplier. He should be the one who arranged these things to enjoy life, but Bao Qianxia had arranged such a high level of treatment for him. Boss, if you want the goods, just say so. Why do you have to put on such a show? Huang Xiong squinted his eyes and enjoyed it very much. Bao Qianxia, who was in the steaming room with him, also stretched. I heard that Brother Xiong has encountered some trouble recently. So I specially arranged this to relieve your worries. Huang Xiong, who had been enjoying himself, suddenly widened his eyes and looked at Bao Qianxia vigilantly. Boss, why do I suddenly feel like this is a Hongmen banquet? Brother Xiong, you're thinking too much. A Hongmen banquet is a meal. I'm just treating you to a sauna and enjoy what a man should enjoy. Bao Qianxia said leisurely, what Hongmen banquet? Huang Xiong was not in the mood to enjoy himself. Boss, who told you that I'm in trouble? Huang Xiong, who had his firearms confiscated by the Shenzhen police a few days ago, didn't mention it to anyone. In order to avoid the news, he even went to another city to spend the Spring Festival. After the Spring Festival, he started to contact Ji Feng in Taiwan and pushed all the blame of the missing firearms to Su Yun, Wu Yuandong, and the police. It could be said that only Ji Feng knew about this matter. Shenzhen is so small. If I don't know about something like this, how can I survive? Bao Qianxia said with a bright smile. Brother, although I call you Brother Xiong, you're much younger than me. Listen to my advice. As a person, you should enjoy when you should. Don't think about so many messy things. Huang Xiong became more vigilant. Boss, why do I feel that you didn't come to me to talk about business? I know that you're in trouble, so of course I wouldn't come to you to talk about business. Now that the police are watching you so closely, wouldn't I be walking into a trap? Bao Qianxia said with a smile. Don't you think so? Huang Xiong swallowed a mouthful of saliva. He had steamed for too long, and his throat was a little dry. Bao Qianxia pointed at his left shoulder and motioned for Li Chun, who was serving him behind him, to massage his left shoulder. He continued calmly, Brother Xiong, we've worked together so many times. No matter what, we can be considered friends. I invited a friend to enjoy life when he's in trouble. Is it that hard to understand? Hearing Bao Qianxia's words, Huang Xiong's heart relaxed a little. Boss, I didn't expect you to be such a good friend. I, Huang Xiong, didn't misjudge you. In the future, if you need anything, just say the word. If you want any new weapons, just say the word. I'll definitely run errands for you, and I won't take a single cent of commission. Tisk, TSK, TSK. Brother Xiong, you're too polite. Bao Tianxia smiled brightly. How's the temperature in this room? Is it okay? Do you want it to be hotter? Huang Xiong nodded. Of course, the hotter it was, the more comfortable it would be. The hotter it was, the more tiring it would be. However, Huang Xiong didn't expect that after he nodded, the three women behind him would suddenly take control of him. Before he could react, they directly pressed him on the hot stone. The sizzling sound was extremely ear-piercing. Huang Xiong, whose skin and flesh were roasted, howled in pain. Chapter 661. Huang Xiong tried to struggle with all his might, but all he felt was an intense pain in his muscles. The feeling of helplessness was so hopeless, and the smooth stone surface that almost burned half of his face was still tightly pressed against his cheek. I'll do anything you want me to do. I'll agree to any request you have. Bao Tianxia waved his hand, seemingly very satisfied with Huang Xiong's cooperative attitude. Under his signal, the three women who subdued Huang Xiong lifted his face from the hot stone surface. Huang Xiong took in deep breaths. For a moment, he felt like he had died once. However, there was one thing he didn't understand. Although the three women were definitely not ordinary people, their strength was not enough to control him. I put something special in the liquor you drank just now. Bao Tianxia smiled brightly. In the past, when I was fighting personally, I would always carry something with me. Not only can it seal the movement of zombie dumplings, but it can also seal the state of mind and movement of humans. You. Huang Xiong's face showed unprecedented fear. Bao Tianxia had drugged the liquor for him. No wonder he felt something was wrong when he drank the liquor. In the past, a 40-proof whiskey was nothing to him, but this time, after drinking half a bottle, he felt tipsy. Bao Tianxia explained calmly, "Don't worry, this glass of liquor won't do anything to you. It will only make you like an ordinary person for 5 hours. Your veins will be blocked, your internal strength will be lost, and you won't be able to do what you want to do." Big boss, why are you doing this to me? We don't have any grudges, and our cooperation in the past was very pleasant. You want money? I can give you money, and I can even give you all of my money. Why are you doing this to me? Huang Xiong couldn't stand the fact that he didn't even know why he died. Wouldn't that be too unjust? 5 hours was enough for Bao Tianxia to torture him. Brother Xiong, do you think I'm a money grubber? Bao Tianxia shook his head helplessly. It seems like you still don't understand how I know you're in trouble in Shenzhen. Hee, your weapon storage place was raided by the police. You must be feeling bad, right? Bao Tianxia's sinister smile made Huang Xiong completely stunned. How did you know? If I told you that Su Yun, who caused you to lose a large amount of firearms, is my friend, a very, very good friend, would you believe me? Bao Tianxia said bluntly. Huang Xiong shook his head firmly. I don't believe you. You two are not the same kind of people. Bao Tianxia raised his head and laughed. Ha 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 ha, even you don't believe me. It seems that he and I are not friends anymore. But even if we're not friends, I'll definitely help him settle the matter that I promised him. An unprecedented fear appeared in Huang Xiong's eyes. The feeling of being unable to exert any strength terrified him. He knew very well that he was completely powerless to resist any of Bao Tianxia's requests. If he resisted, he would suffer inhumane torture. Half of his scorched face was the best hint. I want to meet a friend who is too gay, Bao Tianxia said. You should know what I mean. I don't understand, Huang Xiong said nervously. Big boss, we can talk about it clearly. Bao Tianxia waved his hand, and the three women controlled Huang Xiong again. Bao Tianxia's eyes were filled with disdain. If I say you understand, you definitely understand. If you can't figure it out, I can help you. I understand. Huang Xiong, who had just been controlled by the three women, shouted, "I know what I should do. Big boss, give me a chance." Bao Tianxia raised his hand and signaled the three women to stop. He stepped forward and patted Huang Xiong's uninjured face. "You only have one chance, and you've already used it. If you still want to play tricks with me, don't blame me for not giving you any face." Huang Xiong nodded desperately. "Big boss, tell me what you want me to do. I, Huang Xiong, am your man in the future. I'll listen to everything you say." In order to survive, the best bargaining chip Huang Xiong could think of was himself. Otherwise, even if he helped Bao Tianxia would still kill him. Huang Xiong couldn't understand how Su Yun and Wu Yuandong could invite such a despicable and ruthless person to help them. This bargaining chip really moved Bao Tianxia. "It seems like Big Brother Xiong is very sincere. Ha ha ha, good. I'll look forward to Big Brother Xiong's sincerity. Invite all your gay friends here and put all the expenses on my account. You can enjoy yourselves to your heart's content. All you have to do is let your gay friends have a taste of the wine I gave you." Huang Xiong swallowed his saliva. He knew that Bao Tianxia would ask him to do this. Ji Feng was the hall master of the Three Lotus Association's Crimson Gold Hall. He was naturally not weak. This time, he came to the mainland to deal with the potential threat of Wu Yuandong and to take revenge for his trusted subordinate, Qin Yitian. The people he brought were definitely not weak. Even if Bao Tianxia had the strength to fight them head-on, both sides would suffer. Bao Tianxia was a shrewd person. He wouldn't do this kind of business. Since he had a way to take down the other party without moving a single soldier, why would he let the people around him risk their lives? Although Xiong Dong and the other experts were lying in ambush in the club and could come out at any time to protect him, it was only an insurance to prevent the situation from spiraling out of control. Of course, the situation wouldn't spiral out of control. If it did, Huang Xiong would be the first to die. Huang Xiong didn't want to die. He valued his life more than anything else. Therefore, he would try his best to control what he could. Ji Feng was the hall master of the Crimson Gold Hall, the largest hall under the Three Lotus Association. He was 35 years old and looked very talented. Whether it was the way he handled things or his ability to do things, he was deeply admired by the Three Lotus Association's president. He was the youngest hall master of the Three Lotus Association and the one who had been in the position for the longest time. "Welcome, welcome. Warmly welcome." Huang Xiong's acting talent was probably acquired when he was in his mother's womb. There was no sense of disharmony at all. On the contrary, Ji Feng was a lot more careful. To be honest, he didn't trust Huang Xiong that much. After he gave the gold and jewelry to Huang Xiong 3 years ago, Huang Xiong disappeared without giving him the firearms. To Ji Feng, Huang Xiong was obviously an untrustworthy person. However, in order to get the firearms and Wu Yuandong back, he had no choice but to cooperate with Huang Xiong. The two of them were together for the sake of benefits, so Ji Feng felt that Huang Xiong didn't need to make such a big scene to receive them. The more Huang Xiong acted like this, the more Ji Feng felt that there was something wrong. "Brother Xiong, if there's anything, we can just talk about it directly. There's no need to go through so much trouble." Ji Feng smiled. "I didn't come to the mainland to have fun. There's nothing I can't enjoy in Taiwan." Huang Xiong knew that Ji Feng was cautious. He smiled and said, "Hall Master Ji, what you can enjoy in Taiwan isn't my goodwill. Since you're already in the mainland, if I don't do my duty as a host, wouldn't it be against the principle of, isn't it a pleasure to have friends from afar? He, Hall Master Ji, I'm being sincere. You can't not give me face." But something went wrong during the first cooperation between Brother Xiong and I. How can I trust Brother Xiong again? Although Ji Feng hated Huang Xiong to the bone, he also understood the simple principle of the host and the guest. This was the mainland, and it wasn't too far away. He had to restrain himself as much as possible. Huang Xiong hurriedly said, "This is something I want to explain to you. Hall Master Ji, I wasn't able to give you the firearms on time previously because someone was behind it. The police had their eyes on me, so I could only escape. I've been on the run for 3 years. No matter where I go, I pay attention to integrity when doing business. That's why I contacted you previously and asked you to send someone over to take a look at the firearms. Who knew? Ji Feng frowned. What do you mean by someone was behind it 3 years ago? Hall Master Ji, I'm afraid you'll have to ask yourself about this. Huang Xiong said, the person who was behind it 3 years ago was probably the one who killed Qin Yi Tian and caused my firearms to be confiscated. You're talking about Wu Yuandong. Ji Feng's eyes widened in anger. Huang Xiong coughed a few times. Hall Master Ji, I don't dare to say this. The person who caused my firearms to be confiscated a few days ago was Wu Yuandong. Also, he has an extra helper with him who is quite strong. Ji Feng stared at Huang Xiong, as if trying to figure something out. Huang Xiong shook his head helplessly. Hall Master Ji, I'm being so sincere. You should believe me. If I had other intentions, I wouldn't have made it so clear to you. We don't just have to deal with one person. This is why I invited you and your brothers here to have some fun. Brother Xiong, then you must have a good chat with me today, Ji Feng said indifferently. His purpose for coming to the mainland was, of course, to retrieve the firearms. There was another important reason, which was to make Wu Yuandong leave this world forever. Recently, some of the things he did had aroused the president's suspicion. Big Missy was also unhappy with him. He couldn't let Wu Yuandong appear and cause trouble for him at this time. As long as he got the firearms, he could carry out his plot to usurp the throne. When the time came, he could force the president to marry Big Missy to him. Then, all the problems would be solved. Ji Feng's ambition was huge. He couldn't wait to get everything from Taiwan. He had enough of putting on a facade in front of the president. Please, this is the most fun place in Shenzhen, Huang Xiong said. There's nothing you can't get, only things you can't imagine. Today, the entire clubhouse is ours. Everyone will serve us. Brothers, just enjoy to your heart's content. Drink as much as you want and sleep with as many women as you want. Ha 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 ha. Ji Feng had brought people to Shenzhen for days. These brothers had to search everywhere every day. Fatigue had already filled their bodies. At this time, to have such a paradise for them to enjoy was definitely better than anything else. Under Huang Xiong's lead, Ji Feng's subordinates quickly fell into a drunken stupor. No one would dislike this kind of heavenly treatment. No one wanted to go out and work. Since there was an opportunity today, of course, they would seize it and enjoy to their heart's content. Wine, drink as much as they wanted. Women, sleep as they wanted. This was the biggest wish of these people at this moment. Chapter 662. The madness lasted for more than an hour until Bao Tianxia's appearance interrupted the drunken stupor of these people. Clap, clap, clap. Bao Tianxia clapped his hands and smiled. It said that people from Taiwan know how to enjoy themselves and have more fun than people from our mainland. Ha ha, you guys should have had enough fun. It's my turn to enjoy myself. Bao Tianxia's appearance caused the atmosphere to become tense. Xiang Dong and Li Chun stood behind Bao Tianxia and looked at everyone coldly. Ji Feng immediately became alert. Brother Xiong, didn't you say that we were the only ones here? Who is this person? Why did he appear in front of us? If you can't give me a convincing answer, don't blame me for turning against you. Huang Xiong didn't expect Bao Tianxia to appear so suddenly. He stood up and introduced, This humble one is Bao Tianxia. Before Huang Xiong could finish, Bao Tianxia interrupted him and introduced himself. I'm the one who provided you guys with this place. Ha ha, my strength is limited. This is the highest enjoyment I can give my fellow Taiwan people. I have some shares here. What do you guys think? Not bad, right? Huang Xiong heaved a sigh of relief. He thought that Bao Tianxia would directly make things clear. Although Ji Feng and all his subordinates had drunk the wine here and should have become ordinary people like him, Huang Xiong still felt threatened by Bao Tianxia's presence as an ordinary person. So it's the boss. Ji Feng heaved a sigh of relief. Boss Bao's place is indeed great. It's hard to find such a luxurious place even in Taiwan. The mainland is developing too fast, especially Shenzhen. It's worthy of being called a first-tier international city. Bao Tianxia laughed. You're too kind. Hallmaster Ji is too good with words. The mainland can't compare to the development of Taiwan. Oh, right, how's the president? When will it be your turn? Ji Feng's expression changed. He slammed the table and stood up. How do you know my identity? After saying that, he glared fiercely at Huang Xiong. Huang Xiong didn't know what to do under Ji Feng's piercingly cold glare. He could only comfort himself that Ji Feng had also drunk the wine with the ingredients. Even if he wanted to do anything to him, he wouldn't have the ability to do so. If I didn't know who you were, I wouldn't have asked Brother Xiong to invite you here. Bao Tianxia smiled with satisfaction. Hallmaster Ji, not only do I know your identity, I also know why you came to the continent. I even know what you want to do after returning to Taiwan. What do you think? Am I awesome? How did you know? Ji Feng's fists clenched tighter and tighter. The hostility in his heart increased, and his murderous intent grew. The thing he was most afraid of was someone mentioning his intention to usurp power. Bao Tianxia sighed. If I told you that I've learned physiognomy, I'd be able to tell just by looking at you, would you believe me? Of course, it was Brother Xiong who talked to me. Ha ha ha. Huang Xiong's expression changed when he was betrayed. How would he know what Bao Tianxia was trying to do? Ji Feng's anger focused on Huang Xiong. This wasn't the first time Huang Xiong had tricked him. 3 years ago, Huang Xiong didn't keep his word. Now, he was trying to trick him again. Ji Feng ordered, "Kill him." The 6 people who came with Ji Feng pounced on Huang Xiong without hesitation. However, when they punched, they realized that something was wrong with their bodies. They couldn't use any strength at all. They were beating Huang Xiong with the strength of an ordinary person. This meant that Huang Xiong, who was now like an ordinary person, wouldn't be in any danger. Brother Feng, there's something in the wine. We can't use any strength at all. Someone suddenly shouted. At this time, Xiang Dong had already made his move. His figure flashed in front of the 6 people. Facing opponents who couldn't fight at all, Xiang Dong easily broke their necks in less than 8 seconds. Ji Feng was finally angry. His figure flashed, and he suddenly attacked Bao Tianxia. He understood the principle of capturing the ringleader first. However, the moment Ji Feng attacked Bao Tianxia, Li Chun had already appeared in front of Bao Tianxia and blocked Ji Feng's fatal attack for Bao Tianxia. Huang Xiong was shocked. He had clearly seen Ji Feng drinking. Unfortunately, he didn't see Ji Feng using a tissue to wipe his mouth every time he drank. Ji Feng felt that something was wrong from the beginning, so he spat out all the wine. Even though Ji Feng knew that Huang Xiong had drunk the same wine as him, he still felt that it was better to be careful. As Ji Feng expected, there was something wrong with the wine. Although it wouldn't kill, it could seal a person's state of mind, inner force, and true qi, turning an expert into an ordinary person. Ji Feng could only be thankful that he spat it out. Otherwise, the consequences would be unimaginable. After failing to ambush Bao Tianxia, Ji Feng immediately shifted his target to Huang Xiong. Because Huang Xiong had drunk the same wine, he was now an ordinary person. If Ji Feng wanted to take Huang Xiong's life, it would be as easy as flipping his hand. Facing this bastard, Ji Feng could no longer suppress the madness in his heart. He suddenly turned around and attacked Huang Xiong. No matter what, he had to take Huang Xiong's life first. It could be considered as revenge for his 6 brothers who had gone out with him. However, Ji Feng had forgotten that Xiang Dong was beside Huang Xiong. His fatal attack was blocked once again. Hallmaster Ji, although you didn't drink the wine, there are some fine particles in the air that you can't guard against. Xiang Dong smiled. With your current strength, I'm afraid that you're not my match. Moreover, I still have the 1,000-faced Guanyin to help me. Give up. Huang Xiong's heart was about to jump out of his throat. Fortunately, Xiang Dong had saved him. Otherwise, Ji Feng would have definitely dug out his heart. Ji Feng had never thought that he would be in such a desperate situation today. He would definitely remember the name Huang Xiong. Sooner or later, he would personally deal with this bastard who had deceived him twice. The first time, he had caused him to lose a large sum of money. This time, he had almost caused him to lose his life. Since this is how you treat your guests, then forgive me for not keeping you company. Ji Feng suddenly took out something from his pocket and slammed it on the ground. Before anyone could react, a huge cloud of white smoke exploded in the room. The entire room was instantly shrouded in an environment where nothing could be seen clearly. The smoke not only caused Bao Tianxia to cough violently, but it also caused him to cry. When the smoke dissipated, they could no longer find Ji Feng's figure. Why would he have something that could save the lives of Japanese ninjas? Xiang Dong also coughed violently. Bao Tianxia sneered. It seems that this Ji Feng isn't as simple as we thought. He wants to become the president of the Three Lotus Society. It's probably not just his own idea. Big boss, do you mean that the Japanese are behind this? Li Chun asked. The president of the Three Lotus Society is very adamant about Turtle Island. He has his own fishing protection organization, which often affects the interests of the Japanese in many ways. Since Ji Feng has a smoke ball that allows Japanese ninjas to escape, he obviously has something to do with the Japanese. Bao Tianxia said indifferently. The Japanese often send ninjas to the waters around Turtle Island to threaten the safety of fishing boats. The president of the Three Lotus Society has sent experts to deal with those ninjas several times, but those ninjas are always able to escape under the protection of the smoke ball. Huang Xiong cursed. I didn't expect this bastard to be a traitor. Fortunately, I didn't give him the firearms. Otherwise, who knows what he would do? What right do you have to scold him? As if what you did was honorable. Li Chun glared at Huang Xiong. Big boss, I think Ji Feng can't stay on the mainland after such a huge setback. There's no use for Huang Xiong. Why don't we let Xiang Dong kill him quickly? Xiang Dong rubbed his palms together. Huang Xiong was dumbfounded. He didn't believe that a woman like Li Chun would be so vicious as to kill him immediately after he lost his value. No, he's still useful, Bao Tianxia said. Bao Tianxia said, arrange for someone to do this. Just keep him alive. Make him drink something he should drink every 5 hours to maintain his ordinary state. Otherwise, I'm afraid he'll be the first to take my life when he recovers. Li Chun nodded. Big boss, don't do this to me. I swear, I won't take revenge on you. I swear, I won't go against your orders in any way. Huang Xiong almost knelt down. I beg you, don't torture me. I'm willing to be used by you in the future. I'll do whatever you say. Bao Tianxia smiled. Brother Xiong, do you know that there's a type of person in this world that can't be trusted? That's a businessman without integrity. Even though you're in the arms business, which is a shady business, you still have to keep your word. Integrity is the capital of a businessman. I'm also a businessman. My business is even more shady than yours, but I'm honest. I'll never do something like this. You can even fool your business partner. What do you have to make me believe you? Bao Tianxia's words were like thunder that struck Huang Xiong. Huang Xiong felt that he had fallen into an abyss of eternal damnation. If Bao Tianxia continued to supervise him like this, then his life would definitely be worse than death. Big boss, please give me a chance. I'm begging you. Huang Xiong made his final struggle. Bao Tianxia ignored him and turned to leave. He had done what Su Yun asked him to do as soon as possible. Of course, he had to inform him as soon as possible. Bao Tianxia wanted to show Su Yun his sincerity. He had done what Su Yun asked him to do in just a few hours. However, he had asked Su Yun to do something for him, but Su Yun hadn't agreed. Bao Tianxia knew that his favor was worthless in front of Su Yun. Even so, he still wanted to let Su Yun know that Bao Tianxia had done for him. Even if it wasn't out of gratitude, even if it was to return a favor, he had to let Su Yun know that he had to do something for him. Bao Tianxia looked at the dark sky and dialed Su Yun's number without hesitation. He wanted to tell Su Yun the good news. At the same time, he also wanted to hear the good news from Su Yun. Chapter 663. Su Yun and Ruan Qingshuang were packing up Guagua and Bu Fifan's supplies for school when they received a call and went to look for Wu Yuandong. Ruan Qingshuang didn't know who Su Yun was talking to, but she could tell something from Su Yun's expression. Although Su Yun was suppressing it, he couldn't help but reveal a surprised expression. Wu Yuandong was about to go to bed when he saw Su Yun come looking for him with a serious expression. He immediately asked, "What happened?" "Bao Tianxia has already taken care of Huang Xiong and Ji Feng. Su Yun, all of Ji Feng's men are dead. He's the only one who escaped. If he's not stupid enough to seek death, he'll definitely run back to Taiwan in the shortest time possible." Wu Yuandong's mouth was wide open. This news came too suddenly. It had only been a few hours since they talked with Bao Tianxia, and Bao Tianxia had already taken care of the problem. Bao Tianxia's efficiency in dealing with things was far beyond their imagination. Bao Tianxia was simply too terrifying. The shock that Bao Tianxia brought to them completely offset the joy that they should feel. "I believe that Bao Tianxia wouldn't joke around with me. Su Yun. He's now looking forward to my answer. Did he ask you to go to Xing Anling with him?" Wu Yuandong was stunned. "Did you agree?" Su Yun shook his head. "Of course I can't agree. But if I don't have a proper reason, I'm afraid that Bao Tianxia won't be happy. Fortunately, Ji Feng escaped. Now I have a reason to go to Taiwan for a vacation." "Wu Yuandong, you told him that you're going to Taiwan to find Ji Feng?" "Of course. If Ji Feng doesn't die, this matter won't be over." "Su Yun, since this matter isn't over, of course I can't agree to Bao Tianxia's request. If there's anyone to blame, it's Bao Tianxia's fault for not taking the opportunity to get rid of Ji Feng. Maybe Bao Tianxia is regretting it now. He's now hoping that I can help you get rid of Ji Feng as soon as possible." Wu Yuandong was silent for a moment. "But you can't drag this on forever. Bao Tianxia will run out of patience sooner or later. Who cares? At least he's very patient now." Su Yun smiled. "Not only was he very patient, he also told me something even more important about Ji Feng." "What?" Wu Yuandong asked doubtfully. Su Yun's expression turned serious. "Ji Feng might be colluding with the Japanese. When he escaped today, he used the Japanese ninja's life-saving smoke ball. This kind of thing doesn't exist in the mainland or Taiwan, and no one knows how to make it. Only Japanese ninjas know how to use this kind of thing." Wu Yuandong sucked in a cold breath. Ji Feng was even more hopeless than he had imagined. "If I'm not wrong, the one who instigated Ji Feng to usurp the throne must be a Japanese." Su Yun continued, "The president of the Three Lotus Society is the leader of the famous fishing protection organization. Everyone in the Three Lotus Society is a member of the organization. The Japanese probably hate the president and the members of the Three Lotus Society to the core. They want to find a puppet to replace the president and use the power of Taiwan to attack everything related to fishing." Wu Yuandong couldn't believe that Ji Feng's usurpation of power would involve such a huge national interest. If that was the case, then he had even more reason to stop Ji Feng's scheme. He would never allow the Three Lotus Society to have a person who would betray his country, his character, and everything else. "I have to kill Ji Feng, and the sooner the better." Wu Yuandong clenched his fists so tightly that the veins on his forehead couldn't express his anger. Su Yun nodded. "This matter can't be delayed. We have to get to Taiwan as soon as possible. Before Ji Feng and the Japanese carry out their other schemes, we have to get rid of Ji Feng and the traitors who invaded the Three Lotus Society. We can't let the Japanese succeed in their scheme on Turtle Island." Wu Yuandong nodded heavily. He swore in the name of a descendant of the Huaxia that he wouldn't let this happen. "After sending Guagua and Bu Fifan to school tomorrow, we will leave," Su-yun said. I don't want them to worry about me after school starts. They are very obedient and sensible children. Especially now that Bufifan knows what we are doing, I feel that something is wrong with him. Him? What's wrong with him? Wu Yuandong didn't understand. Su-yun frowned. I said something wrong when I was chatting with him once. Perhaps his mind is filled with the matters of the hunter school. He seems to be very interested in the hunter school, and I can't predict his desire to become an expert. He doesn't want to be ordinary. He wants to become someone like us. That's why he especially wants to go to the hunter school. Wu Yuandong was shocked. Why would you mention the Hunter Academy to him? That's definitely not a place for humans to stay. Not to mention him, even an ordinary expert would most likely not be able to withstand that kind of inhuman tempering. You should have heard of the principal of the hunter school. He's a pervert. Ancient Magpie Realm. Su-yun took a deep breath. When he was in the Dragon Brigade, he often heard Wang Yi mention that an earth-profound realm expert was a godlike existence. Su-yun vaguely remembered hearing this name from Zhang Tai-sui when he was young. As for the relationship between these old monsters, he didn't know. Just hearing this name made Wu Yuandong's Adam's apple twitch. He said nervously, "You must keep an eye on him. Don't let him go to that kind of place. It's hell on earth." Yes, it is indeed hell on earth. Su-yun seemed to relax a lot after taking a deep breath. To be honest, I sometimes fantasize about how powerful Bufifan will be if he can really be trained by the ancient Magpie Realm. Forget it. You should get rid of that thought as soon as possible. Wu Yuandong shook his head. I'm afraid that he will be trained to death by the 4 great instructors of the ancient Magpie Realm before he can even be trained by the ancient Magpie Realm. By then, you won't even have a place to cry. Don't ruin such a good eldest son. Su-yun smiled bitterly. Yes, he couldn't bear to leave Bufifan in that kind of place. Even if Yi Fala didn't entrust him to him, he couldn't bear to leave him there. This was because this kid had already integrated into their family. They were family. The meaning of family was definitely extraordinary. Send them to school tomorrow. I'll go to the airport to book a ticket. Wu Yuandong said, Brother, I'm sorry. If you go too far, I should be the host and take you to have some fun. We'll go to the most famous nightclub to drink and see the most coquettish beetle nut girls by the roadside. Haha. But I'm asking you to do something so dangerous with me. Su-yun smiled. Brother Dong, I'm not just helping you. I'm doing it for the greater good. Brother. I've only admired a few people in my life. You're definitely the one I admire the most. Wu Yuandong sighed. The beginning of school always made the school-age children excited and helpless. They were excited because they could go back to school and play with their friends. They were helpless because they had to be restricted by the teachers again. Moreover, this kind of closed school didn't allow them to go home. This was especially so for a girl like Guagua who loved her family. Fortunately, she now had a big brother Boo who could take care of her in school. This made her very happy. However, before entering the school gate, Su-yun didn't tell Bufifan to take good care of Guagua. Instead, he pulled Guagua to the side and secretly said, Guagua, do me a favor in school. Keep a close eye on your big brother Boo. If he does anything strange, tell me immediately. For example, Guagua said, dating? Kissing a girl? Sneaking out to get a room and have sex? If there was a brick next to him, Su-yun would have smashed himself to death with it. I'm not joking with you. If he tells you that he wants to skip class or says goodbye to you, you have to stop him and tell me immediately. Guagua nodded as if she understood. Don't worry. I won't let Big Brother Boo skip class and have sex with other girls. Su-yun pinched Guagua's smiling face. He really couldn't bear to let her go to school. Go. Listen to the teachers and build a good relationship with your classmates. Don't worry. Guagua stepped forward like a little adult and pulled Bufifan into the school. Of course, Su-yun didn't feel at ease leaving this matter to Guagua. Fortunately, Cho-yun would be at school. Su-yun then told Guagua about what he told Cho-yun. He also told Cho Yun about Bu Fifan's interest in the Hunter Academy. Cho Yun basically understood Su Yun's meaning. She signaled Su Yun to rest assured that she wouldn't let Fifan leave her watch. After everything was arranged, Su Yun and Wu Yuandong said goodbye to Ruan Qingxuang and the others and rushed to Taiwan to solve Ji Feng's problem. If Lin Gu brings guests back, take good care of them. They're my old friends. Before Su Yun left, he said to Ruan Qingxuang, take care of yourself. I'll be back soon. By the way, now that Chongzi is helping to take care of the hotel, you should take some time to go out and have fun and relax. Find a weekend when Warner is also resting and go to Guqin Island to find Tang Jiu. Also, take a look at the construction of my film and television plaza. Don't worry about me. Take care of yourself. Ruan Qingxuang said, be careful. Qin Wan also said, don't worry. I'll take good care of Sister Qingxuang. You and Brother Dong should take good care of yourselves too. Go. Don't waste time. If you do, Sister Qingxuang will become sentimental again. Okay. We're leaving. You guys can go back, Su Yun said. Chong and the others who came to the airport to see them off also sighed. Brother, remember to think of us when you get there. We're all thinking of you. Don't be seduced by beetle nut girls. Brother, don't forget to bring back some local specialties when you come back. I heard that Taiwan has a lot of beetle nuts. They have breasts, butts, and waists. Don't just enjoy them for yourself. Remember your brothers. If you can pack them up, bring back a few more. That's right. Brother, if it's inconvenient to bring back beetle nuts, you can have a high-quality blow-up doll. We don't mind. Whether it's Bordeaux or Yoshizawa, they're all good. I heard that the handicrafts there are much better than the ones in our mainland. F***ck off. Su Yun could only end their farewell at the airport with this sentence. With this group of people in Shenzhen, Su Yun felt much more relieved when he left. At least, if anyone wanted to bully Ruan Qingxuang, they would have to think about whether they could get past them first. Taiwan Island, wait for me. I'm coming. Beetle nuts, wait for me. I'll be there soon. Chapter 664. Taiwan Island was a large island on the southeast coast of Huaxia. It faced the Pacific Ocean to the east, the East China Sea to the north, and the South China Sea to the south. It was separated from the mainland by the Taiwan Strait. More than 20 million residents lived on this 36,000 square kilometer island. The population density was quite large. Tracing back to history, this place was also called Izhou and Liuqiu. But no matter what it was called, it was an inseparable part of the sacred territory of Huaxia. This beautiful and rich treasure island inherited and carried forward the profound heritage of Huaxia culture. It was a perfect combination of fashion and simplicity. It was not only a good place for tourism, but also a city with a very developed economy and technology. For anyone who had the opportunity, Taiwan Island was a beautiful place that couldn't be missed. By the time Su Yun and Wu Yuandong got off the plane, it was already evening. The two of them got into a taxi and drove along the coastal road. Su Yun enjoyed everything. If you're really here for a vacation, you must be in a great mood right now. Even if I'm here to cause trouble, I can't suppress my excitement. It's too beautiful here. Not only is the environment beautiful, but the girls are even more beautiful. Due to the geographical location, even though the Spring Festival had just passed, the temperature was definitely not as bad as the mainland. The air quality also seemed to be much better than the mainland. Therefore, the girls that Su Yun saw along the way were dressed very refreshingly, which made him have the urge to strike up a conversation. There seemed to be a mysterious power in this place, allowing you to feel the openness and friendliness of this place just by being here. If these girls were placed beside Ruan Qingxuang, I'm afraid they would be ordinary people. Wu Yuandong smiled. Maybe I love the house and its crow. Anyway, I really like this island city. Su Yun. So I feel that everything here is particularly pleasing to the eye. At least I think these girls are very photogenic. Haha. Wu Yuandong knew that Su Yun deliberately talked to him about some relaxed topics so that his mood wouldn't be so heavy. Is that so? Then don't drool when you see our Mississippi Miss Taiwan is the champion. This is definitely not because of the president. When Miss Taiwan participated in this competition, the president was firmly against it. That's right. And I believe that no judge would dare to sleep with the big miss of the Three Lotus Association. Haha, unless they don't want to live anymore. Su Yun was already looking forward to meeting the most beautiful big miss of the Three Lotus Association. But now was not the time. They had to go to Wu Yuandong's house first. Now, Wu Yuandong's trusted brother was still in the association. He had been in contact with Wu Yuandong all this time. During the new year, Ji Feng had brought people to Wu Yuandong's house to check on the situation. It was also this brother who had informed Wu Yuandong in advance. Now that Ji Feng was running for his life in such a roundabout way, he couldn't even save himself. He probably didn't have the mood to check on Wu Yuandong's house. To be honest, Wu Yuandong's home was quite high-end and classy. People who could afford to live in such a high-end residential area in Taiwan were definitely not ordinary people. Just based on this point, Su Yun could also confirm that Wu Yuandong's position in the Three Lotus Association back then was definitely highly appreciated. The most dangerous place is the safest place. Wu Yuandong smiled. There should be other members of the association living in this residential area. We can't turn on the lights at night. It might be a little inconvenient. Su Yun didn't care about this. He was more concerned about something more important. How many people know about you returning to Taiwan? Although I know you trust your brother, I still advise you to be careful. Don't let unnecessary people know about your whereabouts. You haven't cleared your name in front of the president yet. If someone with ulterior motives uses you, it will be troublesome. Wu Yuandong nodded. This time, I didn't tell anyone about my return, not even the people I trust the most. I'm not afraid of him betraying me. I just don't want to bring trouble to him. Ji Feng is colluding with the Dongying people. Obviously, he can be described as crazy. I won't take the risk. The only person I want to see now is young mistress. I'll tell her everything first. She's a reasonable person and can tell right from wrong. I believe she'll listen to me. Su Yun was absolutely satisfied with this plan. However, he said, "Where are we going to find Miss? How are you going to get close to her? She's the princess of the Three Lotus Gang. Naturally, she won't lack the protection of your people. Brother Dong, although you haven't worked for the Three Lotus Gang for 3 years, who in the Three Lotus Gang doesn't know the hall master of the Clearwater Hall from 3 years ago? That's why I need you to help me find Mississippi," Wu Yuandong said. "I know very well that once I appear, it will definitely cause trouble. As long as Ji Feng whispers something to the president, I'll immediately become the target of everyone in the Three Lotus Gang. I can't be seen by anyone in the Three Lotus Gang. That's why I need you to help me bring Miss here." Su Yun sucked in a cold breath. "Brother Dong, your miss doesn't know me. The Three Lotus Gang's bodyguards won't let me get close to her. How am I going to bring her here?" Wu Yuandong was silent for a moment. "Other than you, there's no one else I can completely trust. If the president finds out that I'm the one who invited Miss, he won't be able to think normally." Su Yun's Adam's apple bobbed. He finally understood. "You want me to kidnap her? If you can convince Miss to go on a date with you, then there's no need to kidnap her." Wu Yuandong laughed bitterly. "If that doesn't work, then this is the only way." Su Yun's smile was much more bitter than Wu Yuandong's. "Brother Dong, you think too highly of me. If the Three Lotus Gang issues a warrant for my arrest at Taiwan University, I won't be able to escape no matter how capable I am. Phew. It's time to test my charisma." "Haha, you've worked hard, brother." Wu Yuandong said, "Miss is a second-year student at Taiwan University. Her name is Lin Suin, but she prefers to be called Mia. She doesn't like to be followed by the president's people in school, so the bodyguards arranged by the president are all secretly protecting her. You have to be careful of anyone who might be a bodyguard around you. They might be students, or they might be the school's handymen, or they might even be the school's chefs. Soo-yun's smile grew more bitter. Your president really loves this precious daughter of his. He's really put in a lot of effort. But I still like the name Lin Suin. Mia. Is it because you gay people like to give yourself an English name? Maybe it's easier to say. Wu Yuandong said. Then what's your name? Soo-yun was somewhat curious. Wu Yuandong shrugged. I don't think I have the chance to give myself a name. Those older than me call me Little Wu, and those younger than me call me Brother Wu or Brother Dong. Your names are so much worse than Mia, ah. Soo-yun patted his stomach. Before you let me court your Miss Lin, do you need to treat me to a meal first? I like local delicacies the most. You know that. No problem. Oyster fried, pan-fried buns, rice soup noodles, squid soup, danzi noodles, large intestine buns. There are so many delicacies in Taiwan that can be eaten. Tonight, you won't go home until you're full. Wu Yuandong finished and brought Soo-yun out. The nightlife in Taiwan was obviously much richer than in the mainland. Every place in the world had their own city that never sleeps. The most famous one was probably New York, and Taiwan was not bad either. The number of beauties here was obviously better than what Soo-yun had imagined. The degree of hotness of the Taiwan May girls was also several streets ahead of those in the mainland. The scantily clad areca nut girls in the glass display windows were even more eye-catching. Soo-yun knew that tonight would be the only night he could relax and enjoy since he came to Taiwan Island. He threw all his worries to the back of his mind. When it was time to play, when it was time to play, when it was time to enjoy, when it was time to enjoy. Only when it was time to do business like this could he wholeheartedly immerse himself in it. The start of school season was the same throughout the country. Even primary school students like Guagua had started school. Taiwan University was naturally lively. But most of the students who returned to school from the holidays were obviously not used to it. They could not go to nightclubs, drink alcohol and flirt with girls through the night. This was the school's restriction on them. But this would definitely not affect the youthful boys' love for girls. After Soo-yun sneaked into Taiwan University, he found that any beautiful and flirtatious girl would always be surrounded by boys. So to say, for a goddess like Lin Suin, who was known as Taiwan's #1 beauty, she would naturally be surrounded by bees and flies. However, Soo-yun quickly realized that his idea was wrong. Lin Suin was not a freshman. She was already a sophomore. Presumably, most of the boys in the school who liked to hunt for girls should know her identity. Those who could get into Taiwan University should be smart people. They would not be stupid enough to mess with the daughter of the Three Lotus Association's president, unless they were tired of living. Soo-yun finally found out that the sophomore students majoring in economics and trade were going to attend the biggest public class after school started in the biggest lecture hall. If there were no accidents, Soo-yun should be able to see Lin Suin there. If it was the first time they greeted each other, Soo-yun felt that it was better to call her Lin Suin. After all, Mia was just a substitute name. It did not seem to be important enough. Speaking of which, Soo-yun's charm was not bad. At least he had been asking for directions from all kinds of beautiful girls in the school. When he asked where the biggest lecture hall was, all the girls were very patient and told Soo-yun the way. In the end, he met a girl who was very enthusiastic and even directly brought Soo-yun to the destination. This really made Soo-yun feel flattered. However, when the girl asked for Soo-yun's phone number before she left, Soo-yun was really stunned. This was too open. They had only known each other for a few minutes. Did this mean that they wanted to develop a relationship? Soo-yun did not hesitate to tell the girl Wu Yuandong's number. He even raised his eyebrows and said teasingly, "I'll be waiting for your call tonight." "You're so naughty. Don't think too much." The girl turned and left. Without a doubt, this gave Soo-yun a lot of confidence. It seemed that his charm was really not that low. Winning over a girl from the Three Lotus Association should not be a big problem, right? As time passed, more and more people came to the lecture hall. Su Yun did not waste any more time. He walked into the lecture hall and found a seat where he could see and hear everything around him. He sat down and waited for Lin Suyin to appear. The lecture hall was noisy. Most of the students who came back from the holidays and did not have time to talk were chatting with each other. The conversations that Su Yun heard the most were the boys saying, "How many girls did you hook up with during the holidays?" Or the girls saying, "How many handsome guys asked you to have sex with them?" And so on. Sigh, college students nowadays are really getting more and more complicated. Chapter 665. At this moment, the noise in the classroom paused for a moment. Su Yun's gaze was instantly attracted by the girl who walked in through the door. This was what a goddess should be. Su Yun felt that those overly beautiful girls he saw on the street last night, as well as those flirtatious areca nut girls, had instantly turned into vulgar women. It wasn't that he hadn't seen beauties before. Ruan Qingxuang, Yu Meiren, Zhuo Meiyan, Chou Yun, Tang Jiu, Ling Jiling, Yi Fala. Every one of them was the focus of attention. And now, the girl who walked in through the door was obviously a goddess with strength comparable to them. This temperament, this aura, it was completely in line with Su Yun's fantasy of the number one overly beautiful girl. If this girl wasn't Lin Suyin, Su Yun would immediately find a piece of tofu and beat himself to death. Beauties were common, but goddesses were definitely not everywhere. Wu Yuandong wasn't exaggerating at all. Su Yun smacked his lips. Such a beauty was definitely worthy of being a beauty that could cause the downfall of a city. If Su Daji could grow up to be like this, not only would King Zhou be charmed, even King Wu wouldn't be able to escape. Su Yun's affirmation was obviously not wrong. Just as Lin Suyin walked into the classroom, a girl who was close to her waved and greeted her, "Mia, come here. I've saved a seat for you." Lin Suyin smiled slightly and walked straight to her friend. Her smile almost made all the boys in the classroom hold their breaths. Su Yun dared to bet that if Lin Suyin gave these boys a chance to have dinner together, they would rather give up the entire holiday to have sex with her. Speaking of which, Su Yun really wanted to praise himself as a genius because the seat he chose was actually behind the seat reserved for Lin Suyin's friend. When Lin Suyin sat down, Su Yun could completely feel the faint fragrance of this goddess who was less than a meter away from him. At first, Su Yun thought that after Lin Suyin sat down, the empty seats around him would be filled with boys. However, to his surprise, although these boys wanted to sit down, they did not dare to do so. Presumably, the title of the big miss of the Three Lotus Society and guild leader Lin's precious daughter was enough to make the other gay losers only dare to look at her from afar and not touch her. After Lin Suyin sat down, she began to chat with her friends about what she had done during the holidays, just like the others. Compared to the others, Su Yun could only sigh at the fact that this girl's actions were too meaningful. She had actually been participating in public welfare activities all this time. If she wasn't donating supplies to the children in the disaster area, she would be visiting the orphanage for the elderly. Su Yun had to admit that he was shocked. Lin Suyin did not have the arrogance and overbearingness that the young miss of the Three Lotus Association should have. She also did not have the arrogance that the young miss of the Three Lotus Association should have. She was just like an ordinary girl, pure, kind, and friendly. It could be said that she had completely taken over the temperament of a goddess. It would not be an exaggeration to say that this girl belonged to the heavens. Just as Su Yun was sighing in his heart, someone patted him on the shoulder. Su Yun turned around and saw a well-dressed girl. He was slightly startled and asked, "What's wrong, classmate?" "Handsome, if you don't want to cause trouble, it's best if you don't sit in this row," the girl behind him said calmly. Only then did Su Yun realize a problem. Not only was his row not full as he had imagined, but the few people who had been sitting not far away from him had also left. Holy *T, what the hell was going on? It seemed that the gay people were quite concerned about the reputation of the Three Lotus Association. It was as if they were afraid of Lin Suyin. "Why?" Su Yun asked. He did not dare to believe that this goddess, who was so pleasing to the eye, was actually a domineering and arrogant demoness. Are you new here? You don't even know this? But you do look unfamiliar, the girl in the back said curiously. Su-yun nodded and said in a low voice, I just transferred here. Could it be that this girl has a bad temper? As he said that, he secretly pointed at Lin Suin with his finger. Mia is not. She is a good person and we all like her. The only bad thing is that Shu Chili is chasing her. If you don't want to cause trouble, quickly change your seat. The girl also lowered her voice and looked at her watch. There are still 5 minutes before class starts. Shu Chili will be here soon. Su-yun was really confused by this complicated relationship. Who is Shu Chili? I'm going to faint. Aren't you two new here? Are you two gay? You don't even know Shu Chili? The girl's expression was very surprised. His father is the president of the Longxing Society. You should have heard of the Longxing Society. It is a famous gang on Taiwan Island. His father has more than 100 people under him. Su-yun shrugged his shoulders and lowered his voice again. No matter how famous the Longxing Society is, they wouldn't dare to offend the Three Lotus Society, right? The girl's expression instantly froze. She nervously said in a low voice, You are not joking with me. You are from the Three Lotus Society? I am not, but she is not from the Three Lotus. Su-yun was a little puzzled. Lin Suin was the big miss of the Three Lotus Society. No matter how stupid the crown prince of a gang was, he wouldn't offend the Three Lotus Society, right? Wait a minute. Su-yun was stunned. Could it be that the people in this school didn't know Lin Suin's identity? They didn't dare to get close to Lin Suin not because she was the big miss of the Three Lotus Society, but because she had the crown prince of the Longxing Society by her side? Su-yun asked, What does Mia's family do? The girl shook her head. I am not very clear about this. I have never heard her mention it before. It should be a business, right? Why? What the F***ck? Su-yun really didn't guess wrongly. Lin Suin's classmates didn't know about her family situation at all. It seemed that President Lin still attached great importance to his daughter's request. Perhaps not only did he not have any bodyguards following him, but the school definitely didn't have any bodyguards in disguise. Otherwise, the Shu Chili that the girl mentioned just now would have been killed long ago, and the Longxing Society might also be finished. Shu Chili is here. This was the last sentence that the girl said to Su-yun. Even if Su-yun wanted to change his seat now, he was afraid that he wouldn't have the chance to do so. This was because the Shu Chili that the girl mentioned just now had his eyes fixed on Su-yun the moment he entered the classroom. Just like Shu Chili, the few henchmen behind him also stared fiercely at Su-yun. The whole class secretly looked at the pitiful Su-yun, although they didn't know that Su-yun wasn't a new student, but a youth who mixed in. At this moment, the goddess sitting in front of Su-yun also turned her head. Lin Suin glanced at Su-yun and said faintly, You better change your seat. Otherwise, the annoying guy at the door will force you to leave and then sit in your current seat. I am not joking with you. Su-yun was thinking about how to strike up a conversation when he saw Lin Suin, but now it seemed that his racking his brain was in vain. He didn't need to say anything like, Beautiful lady, please stay, or Beautiful lady, have you eaten? Because the goddess took the initiative to talk to him. Annoying guy? Su-yun smiled. Then you definitely don't like the annoying guy sitting behind you. If this is the case, it is more pleasing for me to sit here. Lin Suin saw that Su-yun didn't have the intention to leave, so she didn't say anything. Maybe the guy behind her also fancied her beauty. Lust was like a knife above a knife. Only after being hit would he understand. She didn't think that it was Su-yun who chose the seat first. It was she who sat in front of Su-yun, and not Su-yun who sat behind because of her. Shu Chili, who was at the door, saw Lin Suin talking to the strange guy behind her. At that moment, the corner of his mouth twitched. Everyone in the class knew that the prince of Longxing Society was going to do something crazy. Block the door. Let the teacher wait outside for a while. Shu Chili said coldly to the henchman behind him. The henchman behind him immediately closed the door of the classroom and pulled a chair to block the door. The other henchman followed Shu Chili and strode towards Su Yun. When Shu Chili walked towards the innocent-looking Su Yun, Lin Suin suddenly slammed the table and said, "Shu Chili, are you done? This is only the first class of the semester. I hope you can behave yourself." "Mia, it's not that I don't want to behave, but someone has taken my seat." Shu Chili smiled. He seemed to be very patient with Lin Suin, and he even hit on you. Isn't this clearly provoking me? If I don't teach him a lesson, the people in this school will think that I am easy to bully. Although Lin Suin was angry, it was like playing the lute to a cow to reason with a shameless person. "Your seat? If you call it, will it answer?" Su Yun's provocation instantly shocked the hundreds of people in the lecture hall. No one dared to believe that this strange freshman actually dared to provoke Shu Chili. One must know that Shu Chili represented the authority of the fist here. Whoever dared to go against him, he would teach them a lesson. He had his father's Long Xing society behind him. There were hundreds of gangsters in the society, so he could be unscrupulous and fearless in the school. At this time, the class bell rang. The teacher knocked on the door of the lecture hall. "Open the door." "Why did you close the door? What are you doing inside?" Shu Chili didn't have any fear of the teacher. Instead, he said loudly, "Teacher, just wait for a while. We are preparing a surprise for you in the new semester." Facing the unscrupulous Shu Chili, the whole class didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Shu Chili looked at the new student who dared to argue with him in disdain. He sneered, "Newbie, I think I should teach you the rules. You better remember that in this school, as long as Mia's seat is in any classroom, the seat behind her will always be mine. Do you understand?" Su Yun shrugged his shoulders. "Should I say that your face is big or should I say that your butt is big?" Su Yun's words finally angered Shu Chili. In this school, no one dared to talk to him like that. Even the teachers didn't dare to talk to him like that. "I think you are tired of living. Go," Shu Chili ordered. The few followers behind him didn't hesitate to pounce on Su Yun. Looking at their posture, they didn't plan to stop until they tore Su Yun into pieces. However, Shu Chili seemed to have overestimated his followers. In the past, they relied on their advantage in numbers to be ruthless. This was the first time they had suffered such treatment. The first guy who pounced on Miao Yi didn't even see what was going on. He was kicked in the stomach and flew out. His back hit the corner of the table. He was in so much pain that he couldn't get up. The second guy was even worse. He didn't know if it was his heel or knee. He was directly hit in the face and instantly had a nosebleed. The third guy was completely sent flying by a big slap. His body rolled in the mouth and he was directly dizzy. His head fell to the ground and he didn't even know his parents' names. You're tuning in to the Narrate and Escape YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.